Do you guys ever worry about being like robo-racists?
No.
Because I had a moment today where like I was watching like some New Japan thing, and then like I minimized the window once the match was done, and my computer was like, "Oh hey, while you were busy, I kept this out of your way," and then showed me a notification. And my immediate reaction was, "Don't fucking talk to me like you're a person, you machine." And then I was like, "Whoa, okay." Does that concern you guys? Oh, there's a siren. That's the racism police.
There they go.
There they go.
It's too hot. We have to open up the windows.
Yeah, we have to do it again. I'm so sorry, everybody.
We don't have aircon in Ireland. That's the issue. You might scoff at us being like it's too hot at like 28 degrees, but there's no aircon here.
Yeah, because if we had aircon, it would only be on for like a week and a half every year. But anyway, robo-racism.
No, because they're not, like, it's just algorithm.
Neve.
It's
That's
just
way more racist than what I said.
Algorithm.
Are you being technophobic?
But you see, that's the thing. I think, like, real-life robots, like, walking, talking, sentient, human-like David Cage imaginations, they're gonna be a thing. But I think they're gonna be a thing where when we're really old, and we're gonna be like, it's not actually human. And we're gonna be like all the horrible people that exist now.
I don't think so. I think when we create artificial life, we'll all freak out because we have, like, God complex. We'll be like, oh, we've created life. What is God? Like, if man can just make life from machine, what are we? Have we been in a simulation this entire time? Maybe we're robots.
You see, I think we'll be like that. I think our kids will be like, they're just robots. They're just people. Why do you have to see them differently? Because they'll grow up with it. It's like kids with fucking iPads. They just get it.
I was over at my aunt's at the weekend, and she was telling me about my cousins-in-law. And one is a 12-year-old boy, and he gets home from school at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. plays Fortnite every day.
Fuck.
That's so nuts.
Yeah.
I remember the time when you just had nothing. I had to
I just played in the forest.
Yeah, climb trees, and then when you went home to the computer, you would click on an image and it would load like line by line, and you were like, this image better be worth it.
Yeah. These Tifa titties better be good.
Yeah, those Tifa titties better be good.
I was just going on like murder websites because I was like, what's like the most fucked up thing I can find?
Man, kids like you used to scare the shit out of me, because I had kids like this in my class, and I'd never look at like the real fucked up websites, but they would tell me about them, and I think them telling me about them was nearly worse. And there was a few where, I kind of thinking back to it, I'm nearly 99% sure they were just making it up.
You don't know. There's so much fucked up stuff on the internet.
Yeah, I
it's
guess so.
Probably all real.
Probably. The internet, home of the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of, I'm just going to say it, the most infinite beings in existence. To my left, hundreds of thousands of feet tall, made entirely of a metal so dense that if you were to look at it at a microscope, you would suffer space madness. It's Brian.
Hey.
And to my right, the void, the infinite nothing but the absolute everything, queen of the universe. It's Neve.
And the podcast.
And the
Hello.
Podcast. Yeah. And with you. That's kind of taking the wind out of my sails a little bit.
Who are you?
With you always, I'm your host, John, aka Spooky Building.
Like a fucking, like, are you made out of bricks and shit?
Yeah, I'm made out of bricks, but like there's ghosts in the bricks, and if you like, it's real crumbly, but if you take one of the bricks away, a bunch of ghosts fly out, and they're like, whoa.
Did you ever have to do this thing when you were building a house in Ireland?
What?
You would have to throw...
Yeah, when you build your house.
We built a house, but like you used to throw a miraculous metal into the like foundation so ghosts won't haunt it.
No. That never came up.
Old school Ireland,
Here,
Sneeve.
me building my house was my parents driving me from one location to another and being like, here now.
Oh God, we had to go to the foundation and it was like, this will you be your bedroom, Neve. Throw in the cross so you won't die of ghosts.
Although, you know what?
Okay.
We laugh. Which one of us is haunted?
You, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know the house I grew up in was built when I was about 6, and they were kind of showing us the floor plan and going, "You're going to be here. You're going to be there. Can you imagine this?" And I was like, "No." And then when I saw the house, I was like, "Right, where's the like?" I thought there was going to be like an underwater fish tank. And my dad was like, "I never said that." And I was like, "I thought there was going to be that you'd look at the floor and there'd be fish down there." And my dad was like, "You made that up, Brian."
You're not a James Bond villain.
I was lied to by myself.
Mm-hmm. Your own worst enemy. So, I watched that show Barry. Brian, you were talking about this a little while ago.
Yeah, last month. Great show.
I echo your thoughts on this show. It's very good. A little bit of a slow burner. Takes
Yeah.
a while to get moving. But Jesus Christ when it does.
The bit in the second half where they show up at that airstrip to...
Fucking hell.
That was so well done.
Yeah.
Like, it really turns into Breaking Bad in the second half.
And what's cool about this show is if you missed that episode, it's basically a hitman takes a job in LA, accidentally becomes an actor, is very bad at it, but loves it, so must balance acting and assassination.
Yeah.
And boy do zany hijinks ensue. What I really, really liked about the show is like I totally didn't feel that this was a show where they're like angling for a second season. Like 8 episodes go by, or is it 10?
I think 8.
I think 8, yeah.
And it could be self-contained,
And
yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's totally, they leave the door open for more, but like all your questions are answered. It is a self-contained story, has a message. Really, really good show. Very sad, very funny, just the way I like them. Brian,
Yes.
tell us about the Gorillaz.
Gorillaz is a fictional animated band that I saw live.
Now, I'm very confused on several levels.
Okay, Gorillaz have been around for what, like, the better part of 2 decades?
Yeah.
I would say possibly 2 decades.
Yeah, 2000, 2001. Yeah, we're, like, coming up to it.
Fuck.
I've always wanted to see Gorillaz live because I was like, how the fuck did they do that? I saw them live in Dublin at the start of June, and my question was answered. So I was just going to talk about it briefly. When you see Gorillaz live, it involves Damon Albarn, who's the vocals of 2D, and kind of one half of the creation behind Gorillaz. Comes out on stage, and he has 2 drummers, 2 guitarists, 2 guys on keyboard, an 8-person gospel choir, and rappers whenever they are necessary for a specific track. And it's outdoors, and it's a great time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I smelt all kinds of things.
Okay.
Do they have the holograms?
They didn't have holograms. I think that only works indoors.
Do they do that often, or is that just like an award show thing?
They've done the holograms
Yeah.
before, yeah.
They had them built for an award show, but then they use it for a lot of Demon Days, I think.
That'd be so cool to see.
But they mostly did Demon Days. They didn't do a lot of Plastic Beach because the musicians that they work with on Plastic Beach just aren't available.
Okay.
Because it's like Snoop Dogg and Little Dragon. But a lot of Demon Days is like... it's a lot more UK based and Brooklyn based.
Did they
rappers.
do All Alone?
I can't remember.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time at gigs.
There was a lot of stuff I didn't recognize because I didn't really listen to Demon Days.
Demon Days.
That's
really
such a good album,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really, really good.
But then Rebecca listens to it and she was like, yeah, they pretty much played the entire of Demon Days.
Okay, man, that'd be sick. That is a really iconic album, I think.
But they played a lot of new tracks off the Now, which is out in a couple days. But they would always say, this is a new track, or they would like have the name of the song.
Yeah.
But the way they work is that they have a big giant screen behind them that'll play music videos that have motion graphics. And so I know we talked about it that Murdoch, the bassist in the band, is in prison, so he's been temporarily replaced with Ace from the Powerpuff Girls. So Ace was on screen sometimes, and people would start cheering, and then Damon Albarn would point at Ace and be like, "Yeah, see."
Wait, Who's Ace from the Powerpuff Girls?
He's the leader of the Gangrene Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I thought it was a Powerpuff Girl that was joining them, but that's just as good because that's appropriate.
But he's like a lower tier enemy. Like, he's in a couple episodes, but he's not Mojo Jojo or him or someone more iconic.
Yeah, he's someone who gets punched in the background.
Yeah.
I like the Gangrene. Yeah, they're fun.
They're very funny. I like how one of them is like a hunchback.
I think if me and you, Brian, were cartoon characters, we might be one of them.
Yeah. And it was just a really, really nice time. And when they play like the last few songs, Damon goes around and like shows off each member of the band and lets them do their thing. It was very kind of inviting and welcoming, and
Sounds like a good gig.
it was all about family.
Yeah. I get very impatient at concerts. Do you guys ever get like that? I'm kind of like, play the 3 songs I like so I can go home.
I've been to some gigs and it takes an hour to start, and people get pissed, but then as soon as it starts, people are in a good mood. But then as soon as it's done, you're kind of pissed again.
I've only went to one gig I was not into, and that was Rihanna, because she wasn't into it either.
Yeah, I had that with the AES. Neve, tell us about Killing Eve.
Here's my elevator pitch.
Okay,
So I love being in elevators and saying weird things.
I can confirm that.
My elevator pitch for Killing Eve, 2 words: lesbian Hannibal.
Oh dear.
Are we in?
Oh,
Yes,
I am.
yes, we are.
We're in. Okay, so this is a BBC America series.
I know about this show, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
You will love it. I think it's the best piece of TV I've seen in such a long time. It's 8 episodes long. It stars Sandra Oh as Eve, and Sandra Oh, you might know her from Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And it stars Jodie Comer as Vanelle. Eve is a desk job MI5 agent. But she's got a fascination with serial killers. And of course you would if you were in that position. But she doesn't get the chance to ever, like, kind of hunt them. She has to listen to the other people talk around her and kind of take notes. Until this killer starts killing. And she is talented. She is the best. She's killing these high-profile targets. And she's doing it and no one has a clue who she is. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's fluent in multiple languages, and she's a stone-cold psychopath, 100%, has no emotion. Eve becomes obsessed with tracking her, but the psychopath becomes obsessed with Eve tracking her. And there's this really intense dance that happens between them. They're just trying to hunt each other. And it's just so fascinating because all the acting is so on point. Like, everyone is bringing their A game. And there's moments in the series where I was just on the edge of my seat, tense, being like, oh my god, what is going to happen? And there was moments when I was laughing out loud because it has this really dry humor throughout the whole thing as well. It's like the premise is absurd, and no one pretends in the series that it isn't absurd. Like the psychopath assassin becomes obsessed with the agent trying to track her down, and that's crazy. And the agent is like, Eve is like, this is crazy, but I'm also obsessed with trying to find her. And it's just like this mad kind of mashing of wills and genius all together. And it's one of these series that just keeps you engaged, that I wanted to binge it. Like, I really wanted to get through it because I was just so fascinated. All the acting is so on point and the chemistry is all there. Like, it's really, really intensely good. And there's these moments, like in Hannibal, when you watch Hannibal, there's these moments where you're like, maybe Hannibal isn't awful. Like, he shows these moments of humanity. And then at the end of the film or the end of the series, you'll be like, no, he was a psychopath all the time. You never get to forget you're dealing with a psychopath in this. You have that moment of, you know, maybe she does care. And then something so brutal happens and so callous happens that it kind of just, it shocks you. And you're like, yeah, she's a psychopath. And the show never lets you forget that. Sandra Oh is such an amazing actress. They're doing a season 2 and I can't wait for it.
How many episodes is season 1?
8.
Okay. So, hearing you talk about this, it kind of sounds a little bit like that Northern Irish one with Scully.
The Fall.
Is it? Would it?
The Fall is way more serious. This
Okay.
has a dark humor to it.
Yeah.
This has like
The Fall is the bleakest fucking
Yeah, the
show.
Fall
Yeah, it
is
is.
like the Fall is amazing, but it is bleak, and that
Yeah.
deals with the bleak side of this. This is bleak, but it also deals with the comedy of how bleak it is. Like, as an assassin, Villanelle doesn't give a shit why she's killing people because she's a psychopath. She gets paid.
Yeah.
She's like a fashionista living in a penthouse apartment. She's like, I don't know, I get dresses and cake, and all her fridge is filled with champagne. She doesn't care. And like, it's just like fascinating to have this young woman who should be like this like high point in her life, but is just this absolutely brutal serial killer who's just hunting people down and watching them beg for their lives, and she just doesn't bat an eyelid. She just doesn't give a shit. And it's that like absolute commitment to her as a psychopath that makes it fascinating.
That sounds awesome. That sounds I'm excited to check that out.
Me too.
With a lot of TV as well, like it's very America centric. This is all throughout Europe. So they go to Germany, they go to France, they go to Italy, they go to Russia. They're in the UK a lot of the time, and that's like, it's lovely to see that architecture, and it's a
Sure.
very pretty looking series. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good looking series as well as a very well acted one.
Cool. That sounds great. That sounds really, really good.
So don't sleep on Killing Eve.
Don't sleep on Killing Eve. A little bit grim, serial killers and whatnot, so we should probably lighten the mood and talk about Hereditary. Neve, you saw this last night.
I did, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to in a few days. I
Okay.
can't wait.
We're not going to get too spoilery,
No.
but man, that's a bad time. That movie. It's a very upsetting movie. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Not perfect. Like, I kind of feel like you could very distinctly break that movie into two halves. I loved the first half, and I really, really liked the second half. But I felt like the first half, where it's actually pretty light on anything spookery, was just this fucking incredible tone piece of just like how to establish tension and fear and worry, and it was really and like it builds to this really awful thing happening, and like I was like just fucking spellbound the entire way through that. And then after that, I thought it was still a really, really effective horror film, but I think maybe what took it away from me is that the direction it ends up taking, as well as like the ending, really strongly echoes a lot of modern horror films I've seen. But all those horror films I like, and I liked this, but I think it's like if I had seen this film 3 years ago, I'd be even more in than I already am. How'd you find it, Neve?
I think this is an instant horror classic.
Yeah, yes.
I think this is one of the best horror films I've ever seen, and people are going to be talking about this and writing about this and making like essays about this till the end of time. This is the best of new horror cinema. I loved every bit of it. I never feel that afraid watching horror. Like, it just, I'm so used to it that it never really scares me. This is the first time watching horror where I was scared. Like, I was really freaked out.
I kept thinking of that Stephen King quote, that it was actually like a criticism for The Shining, but I always thought it was a really good expression of it. A film made to hurt people. That's what I feel like this is.
Oh, completely. It hurts, but it hurts because of how well executed everything is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is like, with a lot of modern horror, there's a lot of like greeny blue gradient over it. It's got that coldness to it, and you're watching a horror and you know you're watching it from the visual style of this. Hereditary has this autumnal, homely palette to it. The colors used in it are orange and red and mustard yellows, and a lot of the scares happen, like, there's a lot of nighttime in it, but a lot of the freaky stuff happens during the day. And like, it's a masterclass in sound design and editing.
You know, there's just this one bit, and it's just 3 perfectly normal scenes next to each other, but they just layer this fucking awful drone behind it. And it's like, I think what that does is it makes you hypersensitive to all the very slightly off things that happen in those scenes. And I'm told that if you go back and watch this film a second time, you see a lot you did not see the first time. So
Yeah.
I'm really pumped to go back and see it.
There was like some moments like at the start that stuck out to me just because someone's face looked a little weird, and then at the end I saw their face again, kind of thing, and it was just like, I was just like, that seems way too intentionally weird, a smile or something. But like that kind of thing crops up. In Hereditary, it's a family piece. It's about a dysfunctional family that's dealing with loss. Every member of that family is so amazingly well acted.
Yeah.
Like, there is not one weak link. Everyone is doing a fantastic job.
Little girl really stood out to me.
Yeah, Charlie, amazing. There's so much to pick at it. It's just like a fascinating tone piece. And I love miniatures and figures, and I love that the story was told through the mom makes doll houses, and while she's dealing with all these like moments of loss, she's making miniatures of her life.
There's one or two scenes where like you see what she's making, and it's just like, oh no, you can't do that.
That's so fucked up.
And there's even just bits like, there's one bit where she gets a fright, something really scary happens, and like, you know the way they do that, it's like quick cut back to whatever scared her, or the lack of whatever scared her. But there's just this one shot where they just fucking hold on her face for like 8 seconds. It felt like an eternity. It felt like forever. And it's just this actor making these horrified, awful faces, and it is so unnerving. And I feel like the film is just full of these little instances like that, like just these fucking horrifying tiny things, but they're all so perfectly executed, and they all come together so well that it is one of the most like uncomfortable atmospheric horrors I've ever seen. The stuff I'd say like about the end, I think it is totally the kind of thing, if you have seen the films that have done that as well, you'll be like, oh, okay. Because like, especially that final scene, like I have seen 2 films in the last 3 years that have that identical ending, like literally identical. And so that was the only kind of bummer I had with it, but that is such a minor quibble for probably maybe my favorite film I've seen this year.
Yeah, I think, probably my favorite film I've seen this year as well. And I had a problem with the ending as well. There's a VO at the end, a very extended, nearly explanation of what happened at the end by one character. But I was like, it felt unnecessary. I was like, I got it.
I was surprised by that, because when I said I liked it on Twitter, I got a lot of people talking about like the ending, and one person being like, well, what did the ending mean? And I was kind of like,
what do you mean? What does it mean?
Yeah. Like I can't break it down any simpler than the film did.
Yeah.
Like there's no hidden meaning there. It is what it is.
John, would you not just make an ending explain video?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, ending explain video guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's really upsetting to me about people's like film literacy, because like, not only is the film like, it's not a surprise ending. The film is literally building to that, and you're given puzzle pieces, no matter how subtle, to that build. And even though you have the build, there's an explanation which I thought was unnecessary, but seemingly is really necessary.
And even then, like the visuals of that bit are so just
in your face.
Like there's no two ways about that.
This is like, it's so spelt out. Oh god, the internet has ruined people.
But that's that. Yeah, that is, I do feel like that. And actually, like we got some comments to the effect of this. Like, I think it was, I got an email, maybe I talked about this? I got a message from some guy kind of being like, about how he really likes explained videos because he wouldn't understand the stuff otherwise. And I get where that's coming from, but I just think like, what you feel while experiencing a piece of art is so much more important than what's meant to happen in it.
Yeah.
And this is a film where you feel things, bad things, but that's great. Because feeling things is awesome. Sometimes
it doesn't need to be a concrete answer to what happened. It's the journey kind of thing, and what you got from it is good enough. And when you watch one of these explain videos, that's someone's interpretation. That isn't the final interpretation.
Absolutely not.
Like I've watched some amazing videos on Hereditary now that like really give vastly different viewpoints of what the whole thing could have mean. Nick Spheres, who I like loot dropped before, has an amazing video where she talks about it as an analogy for transness. which is just a fascinating take that I would have never gotten from it.
Yeah, I never would have touched that. But obviously, like, that's her fucking truth with it. So.
Yeah, but like, it was like when she puts the pieces together, you're like, okay, that perfectly makes sense with your telling of the narrative. So like, there isn't one way to read film, and I hate that Explain Videos makes it feel like there's a final answer to every question, and no questions being asked. It's just an experience.
Well, like, I think right now it's one of those things where explained is an algorithm hit word. Like, you will get boosted if you have explained at the end of your video. Like,
even after E3 there was like X video explained, X trailer explained. It made me so sad.
Yeah, I think people, I guess if I was to like put a ribbon on it, I would be like, people should trust their own feelings with stuff. And like, if you at the end of a movie you're like, what the fuck happened there? Well, like, I think that's a valid, you didn't fuck up, maybe it just didn't get to you the way it should. And so it's like, it doesn't need to be explained. Maybe just like, it's very rarely I experience a piece of art and then I'm like, what? And then someone explains it to me and I think more of the piece of art because I already kind of had my experience. Yeah. Anyway, good movie. I would really try go see Hereditary in the cinema. Sound design alone makes it worth it. Beautifully shot, fantastically acted. A goddamn step forward for horror cinema as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Go see it.
Okay.
Brian.
Fine.
We're going to get a little bit more serious now. If you are driving in your car, I'm going to ask you to pull over. If you're standing up, sit down. Maybe just kind of, just take a moment here because we got something pretty big coming up.
If you're pooping, stop midway.
Don't make light of this, Neve. Ladies and gentlemen, it's President Evil!
From the leading name in biotechnology comes Regenerate, a breakthrough from the Umbrella Corporation.
Resident Evil.
Rest in peace, your ears.
Okay, so if you're new here, we have an ongoing segment that has become very sporadic, and I think that's how we're gonna keep it. I don't wanna shotgun what we got left.
No.
But we have been watching all the Resident Evil movies in order. We have done the entire live action series, and we have made our way into the CG realm. And we already covered, I think it was Damnation.
Yeah.
And so this time we're covering Resident Evil Vendetta.
You skipped one in this.
Did I?
Yeah, it's Damnation, Degeneration, then Vendetta.
Bollocks.
But it's fine. Vendetta's the best one.
It's the most recent one. It came out last year, maybe the year before.
Okay, this is a little unorthodox, but I just gotta do it.
It's a great film.
This is the best Resident Evil movie.
Yeah!
Yeah, Vendetta
100%.
is fucking fantastic.
So good.
It's so good. I took notes about things that were happening during this movie.
So this movie stars Leon and Chris and Rebecca Chambers as the main characters.
And it takes place between the events of Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a CG motion capture film that kind of looks like Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Or the Gans O film.
Brian, episodes ago, you talked about Rebecca taking that sip of coffee.
Yeah.
That is a satisfied sip.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's some good acting.
Can I read out my notes from this?
Go for it.
Okay. Scientist has tiny arms. There's a scientist at the start of this movie, and his arms are so tiny. It's really weird. He looks like a little Tyrannosaurus.
Like
Rex.
short.
It looks
could have been a birth defect, John. You don't know.
It just looks like someone didn't CG him right. Okay. Monster Gimp and Ultra Porn.
Yeah.
Those are the two bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both look great.
They both look fantastic. Wedding bomb nuke.
Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
They ruined that guy's wedding.
Two people have dropped to their knees and scream no in the same 3-minute section. So someone dies, someone drops to them and shouts no as the camera pulls back. That happens again not 3 minutes later. Breaking Bad conversation.
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
I love this because it puts Resident Evil in the real world.
For like
Breaking Bad exists.
40 seconds, CG Resident Evil characters have a conversation about how Breaking Bad is ahead of its time.
It's true.
It's so good.
Chris and Leon are gay and angry.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Leon has a drinking problem now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain this one. Zombie wedding do-over. A character says to another character, I'm going to replace your arm with Sarah's. Maybe that will change your mind about me. And this is in capitals. Monster Gimp and Ultra Porn are in love and they were at a wedding. They were at the wedding. Leon shoots a dog in the head, drops a billboard bonnet, tosses a grenade on it.
Is that during the motorcycle chase? It's
Yes.
all and yeah, and like it's all in one take, and it keeps going, and like you're enjoying it, and then you start laughing, but then you start crying.
That is the worst I've ever seen a dog get fucked up in a movie. Like, he fucking annihilated that thing. Like, no fucking T-virus is helping that guy out. He's fucking dead. Rover is dead. I love this movie. This was a thing of beauty.
I really like the bit at the start as well when they're in the mansion and they have that like very thin piano wire up and the characters run through it and get sliced up. I fucking love when films do that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Because you know that bit in Resident Evil 4 where like Leon has to go through that like science chamber and like the red laser beams come out and you have to quick time your way through it. But that if you fuck up, they have the model design so that it'll sandwich up Leon.
They do so much cool stuff with Leon's model in that. Like, there's all these weird death animations exactly like that, where like you'll never see them unless, like, do you ever see the one where if one of the bug things in the sewers kills you with its vomit, half Leon's face melts off and like his eyes like die. It's really gross. But anyway, I thought it was really interesting that the T-virus turns men into these big hulking gimp monsters and women into the most awfully sexy thing. Like, this CG woman is like something I would marry if I were still 12.
Yeah. And she just gets wrecked. She has very few like moments in the film.
Yeah. But the bit where you realize there's a romantic connection between her and the giant gimp monster.
I thought it was her dad. Am I misremembering?
Maybe.
that
I was kind of
wrong?
half watching parts, so maybe. But I seem to remember that she was at the wedding and
Yeah.
that they were a couple.
Oh.
And I think there's a point where she says, my love.
Maybe. Yeah. That.
Hey, could
probably,
have still been her
yeah.
dad. Maybe this film went places.
I love the wedding. I love Rebecca in the wedding dress, and all the guests are just in boxes.
That was kind of the bit where I was like, well, no, the nuke wed. Okay, you get an aerial view of a plane dropping an atomic bomb, and then the camera follows the bomb down into the wedding.
Yeah.
And then there's a bit where like the bad guy is like, oh, where is she? And he like picks up his wife's hand, but then he keeps bringing it into shot so you can see that it's cut off, and it is fantastic.
It's like if you needed a motivation for a bad guy, like nuking his wedding is a pretty good motivation.
Yeah, like Umbrella are fucked up. Like, imagine trying to go against like, Umbrella after that, being like, do you want to go after Umbrella? It's like, no, did you hear what they did at that dude's wedding? Like, they don't fuck around. But kind of the last, I think, quarter maybe descended into the usual kind of like horror movie monster ending.
Yeah.
But because I don't really remember much of that, but I really had a great time with this movie.
I think as a rule with Resident Evil, the end of it is going to be mutated giant monster that is going to take a lot to kill, but eventually will be killed.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of
Yeah,
It's such a
just a big
recipe.
Tetsuo looking thing.
Yeah.
Just a
But, like,
mishmash of cells.
it kind of has to happen. You always have to have the dog. You always have to have some kind of laser. There's always usually a motorbike scene. Like, there's recipes to Resident Evil now that if they weren't in there, you'd be like, where's the motorbike?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Degeneration left.
Yeah.
And then do we have any Resident Evil movies?
We can go deeper if you want.
I want.
There is a Resident Evil stage play.
Say no more.
Okay.
Say no more. But we're gonna leave that till the end. And then we're gonna. I think I like this section, so I think we have to find a way to extend it. Maybe we just do a deep dive on video game movies. Let's just. I think there's some real quality entries in the Silent Hill franchise.
Yes.
There's 2 of them. We have the Assassin's Creed movie.
Oh.
Yeah, no one wants to watch that.
We
Silent
have the Super Mario Bros.
The first
movie.
Silent Hill one is pretty good.
Okay, look.
I like
I'm just
both of
saying.
those.
I'm just saying. The second Silent Hill movie is one of my favorite movies.
Really, the second one? Cool. Okay.
Pyramid Head has some good character development in it.
I told the story about going to see that on my birthday before, didn't I?
I think so.
Okay.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John. But yeah, that is Resident Evil Vendetta. That gets to Let's Fight a Boss seal of approval. Fucking fantastic movie. And with that, we are going to move into our strategy talk. Okay, I'll start us off super quick. I played Yoku's Island Adventure. I'd heard this game get a lot of buzz recently and I was kind of curious to check it out. And the premise is really kind of weird and interesting. You're a little beetle, okay? And you're sailing towards your... I think it's called Yoku's Island Express, apologies. You're sailing towards your islands. First thing you meet is this giant pterodactyl. And he's like, hey, I'm the postmaster here. Shit's getting real fucked up. I'm out. And then... you are now the postmaster, and it is your job to deliver letters around the islands. The island is run by this, like, old god Cthulhu looking thing. It's fucking weird.
What is this on?
Everything.
Okay. Cool.
But the gameplay is like... it's like a kind of Metroid game.
Okay.
Big 2D open world map. But the hook is that you're rolling this little ball around, and in all these sections...
So
you're a dung beetle.
Dung beetle, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
dung beetle. Alright.
I'm impressed you're both able to get there from that awful description. Fair play. But you will occasionally enter these little sections and it's just pinball. Like, it's like...
with the poop.
I'm not sure if it's poop. Maybe because it just looks like a little grey ball, but maybe there's poop inside the ball. I don't know. Maybe that's like his luggage. But so then left trigger is left bumper, right trigger is right bumper, and it just turns into pinball. So it's like this 2D open world game. Imagine, in Metroid, imagine if Samus turns into a ball, you could just go into pinball sections. That's what this game is.
Metroid Samus pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the DS.
Yeah, but it's open world.
Okay.
And he's a postman.
And he's a postman. And there's a little story and a narrative, and you get upgrades and stuff.
Is this like a little pixel art game?
No. It looks like... I guess I would describe it more like kind of Ori and the Blind Forest, but not that out there art-wise.
This is really reminding of... This has similarities with the game I'm going to talk about, but it seems like tonally they're on opposite ends.
Very, very different. Yeah.
Okay.
If anything I've said sounds good to you, I think you should check out this game, because it executes on everything it does very well. I'm about 4 hours in. I think that's enough for me because I'm just not into pinball enough, or the kind of... I'm not... Like, it's a very kind of happy game, and, like... I'm a sad person, so it's not... I'm not really on that level as well. So I feel like it is a really good game that is not appealing to me personally, but if what I've said sounds good to you, you should really, really check it out, because, like, it does seem like the game that a lot of love has gone into it. But yeah. Brian,
Yeah.
tell us about the Octo Expansion.
This is Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, which I thought was coming out in July, but then they were like, actually it's out now. And I was like, alright, let's do this. So I bought it, played a little bit of it, and it's good so far.
Yeah, I played a bit of it too.
I made my Octoling. He has an afro. I was very happy with that decision. It's kind of like Persona 5, where you're going on a train underground.
Yeah.
Because that happens in Persona 5. But then you walk around a train carriage, but then when you navigate the world, you just navigate it through a menu on your phone. So I was like, okay, see where they cut the corners here. But then you're just doing like missions, and like so far the missions are good.
I'm really impressed with the variety so far.
Yeah.
Has it a single player story?
Yeah, this is just single player.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like weird Splatoon lore, which is always kind of interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of personality to it.
Yeah, there is.
Like I don't get the feeling it's like kind of tossed off. Like I feel like there has been effort that's gone into this.
Yeah, like I like that the ticket inspector is a little sea slug.
The first cutscene where he comes along,
Yeah,
and he takes like 20 seconds to crawl over to you.
yeah, because you're like, who's saying that? What's this little thing? Oh, that's who's talking. I'm only at the start though, but from what I've heard, the boss battles are really good in it.
Oh wow, I didn't know there was boss battles.
Apparently, there's boss battles, and
It reminds me of Let It Die a little bit.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it's just got a weird like edgy vibe to it.
Yeah, seems alright. I look forward to playing more.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, totally. I also played Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon.
Did this come out?
Is
So-
this Castlevania?
Yeah, this is the Igarashi game.
You're both right, but you're also both wrong.
Okay.
You're thinking of the actual Bloodstained game, which is the Kickstarter. One of the stretch goals for that Kickstarter was a smaller game called Curse of the Moon.
A stretch goal for a game was another game.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
As far I could have that wrong. I wasn't in on that Kickstarter, but I was curious. I had a weekend in London. I wanted something to play, and so I was like, "Feck yeah, I'll download this." I really hope that Bloodstained is as good as this game, because this game is fan-fucking-tastic. This is so cool. Really, really old school looking, really, really retro look to it. Like, not even Super Nintendo, like Nintendo. And I actually don't like a lot of the look. I don't really like the look to a lot of 8-bit stuff, because I found that back then getting like clarity was so important that kind of things like, art direction and stuff were never really thought about. This is a hyper 8-bit looking game with amazing art direction. The colors are beautiful. The sprite design is fucking amazing. I don't know that you could do some of these sprites on like an older system because they look maybe a little too high fidelity, but god, the stuff they do with it. No enemy in this game is like a skeleton or like a werewolf. Everything in this game is some weird fucking thing I have never seen before. Even just like the base, like there's this one enemy, this is one level, and the grunt enemies are like these massive, really creepy looking women in cloaks that just like run towards you and look like they're going insane. And it looks so cool. The way it works is that it's Castlevania well before they introduced like Metroid elements to it. It's just like kind of 2D level based Castlevania, and you start off as this guy, this like samurai guy, and you go through it, and each level you get a new character, and you can switch between them on the fly, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. There's one guy like the alchemist, and he seems totally useless because he has no range, his attacks take ages, but he has the best magic in the game and has all these insane spells, whereas other people have bad magic but like good attacks. And it's really cool because all the characters feel like suited to different situations, and all of them feel like suited to different boss fights. And the boss encounters are really fucking cool. Like, they're really tense and dramatic. All the bosses have this final attack that like they will only do when they die. It's like their dying breath. But one thing I realized, the dying breath never actually kills you. It's just there to seem exciting, even though it'll look like it causes damage, which I thought was kind of cute. And this is just a really, really good game. Like, this is one of my favorite games I played this year. I beat it twice. I beat it once because I don't want to spoil it, but it's like you beat it the first time and something happens that would dramatically change a New Game Plus, and then you beat it the second time to fight the actual final boss, and it changes the gameplay in a really meaningful way. And I was so happy to play it again, and I'd say I got easily like 10 to 15 hours out of this, and it cost me 10 quid, and it's on the Switch. And it's just, if you want just pure great gameplay, great art direction, just it nailing it, this game fails at nothing. Everything about this game, like any criticism I have, is very minor. It is a really, really good, just old school game, and it does not, the retro charm, like if that's appealing to you, it's going to work. It's not really for me, not this era, but even despite that, I loved everything about this game. Absolute quality. So excited to see what they're going to do with actual Bloodstained based off this, and a lot of that's just the art direction is incredible.
Does it have a narrative?
It has a very basic narrative. Text crawl at the start, text crawl at the end.
Cool.
And I think the text crawl feeds into actual Bloodstained.
So it's kind of like a little prequel.
Totally.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
If I have it right, one of the one of the characters you play as is the girl from Bloodstained. Like, the main girl from Bloodstained.
That's cool. For like €10 as a like entry for
Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I was genuinely delighted by it. Really was not expecting to enjoy it so much and just had such a good time with it. So, yeah. Really, really would recommend checking that out. Especially, like, if you're into, like, you know, Metroid games or Castlevania games or anything. It's really good. It's really tight. It has no weakness. It's a great game. One of my favorites I've played this year, for sure. Neve, I see you too have been walking in the realm of the vampires.
I've been playing Vampyr. This is Don't Nod's game that I've been looking forward to for since I heard Don't Nod was going to make a Vampyr game. I've been excited for this game. The idea of a conversation tree choice mechanic RPG with vampires is so intriguing to me. I love vampires. I love how dramatic they are. I love the moral quandary of, do you drink someone's blood or do you try and rise above your kind of base instincts kind of thing. That all sounds like the most perfect elements for a Don't Nod game. Vampyr is the most boring vampire media I've ever played, and I'm so bummed. I'm so disappointed. And like, I'm kind of torn because like there's moments that I have where I really enjoy this game and there's moments where it's not great. So I started this game up totally excited to get into Vampyr territory. This cost me $69.99.
That's way too much money.
That is way too much money. This should be like Cessna's Sacrifice, like
30 quid game.
30-40 quid.
Yeah.
Totally good entry point for this. This was €70. Like, that's absolutely nuts. It is so janky, and I heard like a few people on Twitter called it Eurojank, and this is so full of fucking Eurojank.
Fucking Eurojank.
It is. The menus are slow and they are clunky to get in and out of. You press your the touchpad to get into your main menu. It'll take you 2 seconds for that thing to pop up.
Oh, that's such a killer.
That's not quality of life at all.
No, and you need to go in and out of there to see your map, to set your waypoints, to look at your mission quest. There's a lot of reading of like pieces of material to like unlock dialogue trees with people. It is so clunky. The opening cutscene is how it's all set up, and this is set in 1918 after World War I. You play a character called Dr. Jonathan Reed. He served in the French army during World War I, or maybe it was the British army and he was fighting in France. But you know this because he keeps telling you. Like, he keeps fucking saying it. He keeps going, I was in the French, like, I was in the war. Like, and you're like, okay, you've told me, you've told everyone. Like, someone will tell him a problem and he'll go, when I was in the war. And you're like, oh, okay, Dr. Reed. So, like, you're playing as Jonathan. You open up and there's a cutscene. And this is when I knew it was janky and I knew this should not have been $69.99. He, like, kills a character by biting them. He's, like, full of bloodlust. He doesn't make contact with their neck. He goes to kiss them on the forehead afterwards. Doesn't make contact with the kiss.
Oh, no.
He's like, there's blood everywhere. There's no blood. Like, it's just, the visuals are not displaying what
this got one pass. And that was it.
Like, it's like, it's not getting across what I'm being told is happening visually. And that happens a lot of the way through. Like, you play as a doctor, and you will see a corpse and he will go through, say, there's a puncture wound on the chest. There's no puncture wound on the chest model. Like, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I guess that the visuals aren't what's important here, and I'll put that behind me and I won't be bothered by that. And I did very quickly, because that's fine. The game has frozen consistently on me. If I play a 4-hour gaming session, it will freeze 3 to 5 times.
Jesus, that's fucking awful.
I will get a freeze for putting a waypoint down. I will get a freeze for opening a door. I will get a freeze for anything that will make that game chug in the slightest. And it's a freeze that sometimes that if I wait long enough, it'll come out of it. But most of the time I have to like close the game down and get back into it. Wouldn't be so bad if the menus weren't so painfully slow to get through, and the loading screens for each section super painfully long as well. So getting back to Jonathan Reed's story, Jonathan is very boring as a character. He is torn between being a vampire and his oath of being a doctor and helping people. I would feel a bit more torn with this decision if any of the characters in the world were interesting. Because this is set during the Spanish influenza, everyone's sick and shit and depressed and gross, and no one's sexy and everyone's ugly.
No one's sexy in your vampire game.
Not one sexy character has shown up in my vampire game.
What the fuck are they doing?
Not one billowing shirt. Nothing.
Vampires have to be sexy. Like,
yeah, it's like it's part of becoming one.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what else can I do? It's like, oh, you'll be like way hotter as
You'll
well.
be super sexy. Yeah.
Like the other week, I had a couple of friends over, and two of my friends are very sexy, and people who didn't know who they were like, "Are those two people vampires?" Mm-hmm. And it was like, yes,
probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of a weird game because like it has like a fighting mechanic where you fight like skulls or like a lower type of vampire that are kind of like lost their minds.
Oh, ghouls and shit.
Yeah, kind of ghouls and shit. Yeah. You level up a tree of like abilities and stuff, but my main weapon that I've been using, I'm level 21 now, and my main weapon has been a baseball bat with barbed wire on it.
Sweet.
So I'm a vampire going around beating people's heads in with a baseball bat.
Huh.
Just like Yakuza 0.
Just like Yakuza 0.
I have like vampire abilities like to throw up blood clouds that will do like AoE like damage and stuff, but like that's on a timer and I'll use that to break people up. But my main...
It kind of sounds like this game doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of confused as... Because I felt like everything you just said, that's what they're kind of pitching the game as. Why is there combat mechanics in that?
I don't know. And like, to be honest, like I thought I'd hate the combat. I'm kind of getting more fun out of combat just because the NPCs are so boring. Like, I've eaten people because you can kill anyone in the game. You can kill main characters, which is cool. It's really super cool concept. And it's kind of like a management location sim as well, where you're giving 3 areas, like 4 areas. You're given the hospital, like kind of a main hub, like Whitechapel, the docks and whatever. And you have to keep their health rating over a certain point. And you do that by making like elixirs to cure their cough, to cure like anemia, and to cure these kind of things to get your rating up. So you're kind of managing district's health rating. But the way you level up is, the best way to level up is to eat someone. Because you will get more XP from them than you will from just attacking skulls and like that kind of stuff. I have eaten someone because they bore me. Like, some drunk guy is like, oh, I'm so drunk, my life's shit. And I was like, good, you're eating. Like, I don't care. I don't want to go through your story. I've met like 4 drunk people. Like, I'm going to eat you. The only person I'm really intent on killing is a priest, because he's annoying and he's a priest and he keeps going on about wanting to fix everything with cleansing fire, but my mesmer level needs to be a tiny bit higher, and he's literally the only character I'm invested in morally in my moral judgment game of eating. Like, because I don't like... There's people and they've interpersonal drama, like there's a guy who's sleeping with another guy's wife and shit, but it never affects me as a person, as Dr. Reed, enough, or the area is enough for being like, well, that's a very bad moral judgment, buddy. I guess I'll eat you to make the area better.
Neve, if you were a vampire, like, would me and Brian make it to see the next full moon, or would that just be fucking it?
It depends. I would like to keep you going for a while. I'd like the threat of constant possibility that I would eat you being there.
I feel like a mild version of that most of the time, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh man, I hope
hope she doesn't want to eat me today.
Yeah. It's like, I really don't want to. I don't want to die.
But here's the thing with vampires. That's my experience so far. Is I'm bored by the NPCs, and it's an NPC sim, and I have to find out their stupid stories and manage them based on if I care about them or not. I don't care about any of them. I've met 60 characters. I care about 2 at a stretch.
All this stuff really makes me like, I never want to play this game.
Yeah, this is making me tired.
I think like if you want to, like if this comes down to €20 and you're into kind of RPG sim stuff and vampires, there's vampire lore that you find in pieces of paper around the world, and it's like garlic does nothing to them, and you're like, okay, that's interesting, but a slap with a rose. And like I was like, I like that roses can like hurt these vampires. Like there's
That
like
fucking sounds like something that someone wrote who worked on Life is Strange would do.
yeah, maybe. Shut up, John.
I'm sorry, but it's like
Is,
everything you're
this
saying.
written by Christian Divine?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
Okay, because he's the guy who wrote Life is Strange season 1.
Look that up there while I'm talking.
All right.
There is moments where I do like this game. There was a moment where a boss was a werewolf, and I got to bite him as a man and drink his blood, and then the werewolf bit me back, and we just kept going between biting each other.
Sounds very
Okay.
sensual.
This is written
Yeah.
by a French dude called Stéphane Bouverger.
Well, Stefan needs to, like, I don't know, watch Queen of the Damned or some shit, because this is like the worst vampire. It's just not sexy. Like, who wants to play a vampire game? When I think vampires, I think camp, I think sexy, I think big emotions. Dr. Jonathan Reed is a boring dude who's really naive. I kind of feel bad for him. I want him to find someone who's going to be like, look, here's what's going on, buddy. Because he's like, I'm so tortured. I don't know what's happening. Like, all the time. And not in a, like, tortured vampire way, just in a moany guy way.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Neve, out of curiosity, did you ever play the Last Masquerade game?
Vampire: The Last Masquerade?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Is that any good?
Yes, they're really fun.
Yeah, because I always liked the look of that.
They're fun because they lean into what's fun about vampires, and that's the camp.
Yeah, I think one of the main images I've ever seen is like a schoolgirl vampire.
Yeah. It's like, but that's like, it's like there's like with vampires as a thing, like, and there's all this lore about like the analogy for like bisexuality, and that even like shows up in Metal Gear with the character Vamp, you know, like there's this,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
there's this
What do they say?
He's
He
not
really,
called Vamp because he's a vampire. He's called Vamp because he's bisexual.
He's like, I think there's a phrase where one of the colonels goes, he likes his bread buttered on both sides.
and it's just like there's this thing with vampires where there's this kind of oozing of sexuality and like lust and just desire and
Yeah.
campiness and fun. Like there's something like really
Yeah, like
Interesting.
to me, a vampire like disarms you by looking at you,
yeah.
and they're just so inviting because they want to be invited because they can't because they're parasites. Like they don't live among humans, but they need to feed off humans.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
And I feel like more involved with this, like, I don't really care about eating anyone, so I feel more involved in the management sim aspect where I am just going around making cures for coughs and just feeding it to people just because it puts my town in the green rather than the red, and that's better to see. I don't know, not the game I wanted it to be. Janky, freezes, slow. My main point of having fun with this is soundtrack and sound design, absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah?
Super good. Industrial cellos. Like,
Huh.
really fun.
Get that echo.
It's like some good shit music-wise. I'm having a little bit of fun with the combat, and I'm going to finish it just to see where it goes, and maybe it'll pick up, but I'm like 15, 16 hours in.
Okay. Yeah. Not too hot there.
Not the vampire game I wanted.
No, that's a shame. So, I have been playing. I guess there was a lot of talk about the Ori 2 remake. I think that remake sounds really, really good. I'm getting really excited about it.
Yeah.
And so, in my hunger for more Resident Evil, especially after Resident Evil Vendetta, I went back and started playing Resident Evil 0 for the first time. Have either of you played this game?
Yes.
Okay.
I played it briefly on the GameCube because I got a loan of it.
Okay. There's a lot to like about this game. You play main character is Rebecca Chambers. I think we're all Rebecca Chambers fans.
Yeah.
She's
Great.
cool.
She's really cool.
Very, very cool lady. And early on in the game, you get paired up with Billy, the man who murdered 26 people.
Yeah. And he looks class.
And he's got tribal tattoos. And the first thing that happens is that Rebecca's like, "Hey, you're Billy. I know you from your photo." And he goes, "Huh, been fantasizing about me.
Yeah.
No, Billy. Fucking no.
We don't know that, Neve.
She's the only Resident Evil character with a mullet.
Yeah, he has some fucking mullet
Yeah, he
and
does.
a wife beater, and his dog tag's still on, and the one handcuff. He's pretty shit.
Yeah, shit. He only shows up in one other game.
Really? Which one?
Umbrella Chronicles for the Wii.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's a light gun shooter
Yeah.
that just reenacts the previous games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because this takes place the day before Resident Evil 1.
Yeah. There's some stuff I'm really, really liking about this game. It's like, this is the Ori remake engine, so it used a lot of pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff, so like, you know, very specific camera angles. And
Are you playing on GameCube or PS4?
PS4.
Okay.
Yep. I think it was on sale or free in something.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
You might have it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might.
But some of the pre-rendered backgrounds look fucking amazing. There's one part where you go out onto the first section takes place in a train, and you go out onto the roof of a train, and like the rain and the way it's all animated looks so beautiful. Like, it looks absolutely phenomenal. And it has that kind of, you know, nice Resident Evil atmosphere where it's kind of like, it's just like, there's a real good tension to it, and like where the zombies are and everything. And it's like, it's generally, you know, the stuff I like about Resident Evil. The pre-rendered camera does feel, I guess, more dated than I thought it would, which actually made me rethink my wish that Resident Evil Remake 2 would be remade. I think maybe they've picked the right path there.
They totally have.
Yeah.
Tank controls are the best.
Yeah. Now, that said, I feel like this game has some fucking insane issues. This is some of the worst menu/item management I have ever experienced in my fucking life. It is maddening. Okay, so the way this works, you got these two characters. Each character has 6 or 8 item slots. I think it might even be 6. There are multiple items that take up 2 slots. So what'll happen is you'll get to a new room and you'll find an item, and you'll be like, do you want to pick this up? And it gives you the option yes or no. I wish it would just tell you didn't have room. You hit yes, then it tells you don't have room. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna drop something. There's no chest that, like in most Resident Evil games, you just drop stuff on the ground. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll just drop this here. And then you try and drop it in that room, but you can't because you've already dropped something else in that room, and there's only one tile in this room. So then you have to go outside that room, Resident Evil door open animation, go out, drop something, go back in, Resident Evil door open animation, then go in, get that item. Then you run to the other end of the train only to realize that the first item you dropped is actually something you need, so now you need to run back to the first location to pick up that item again. It is infuriating. On top of this, there's a mechanic where you switch back and forth between 2 characters, and oh my fucking god. It's like, they both have separate health bars, and one is going to be AI controlled, and you can let it attack or not attack, and you can let it idle or not idle. So if you set it to not idle because it's low on health, you have to then run, you can just move around freely and they'll stay in the same room. But if you want to reconnect with them, you can't go into the menu and just say, come get me. You have to go back to the room they are, through all the fucking Resident Evil door open animations, and it is so fucking frustrating. Like, I had a bit where I was like, one of my guys was low on health, so I wanted to leave him behind. I went all the way to the end of the train again, but then I couldn't go in because it looked dangerous and I needed both my characters, so I had to go all the way back again. And it is so awful. And then the combat scenarios, when it's 2 people, basically you have to do this big sequence at the end of the train section where it's like, you know, kind of boss fight, semi-big emergency run, and then afterwards they dump you into an environment where it's just you and your character. And one of them was really low on health because I was like, you know, I had just done this big massive section. And then they just dump you into this really cramped area where 4 zombies just get up. And that's not so bad if you're just trying to defend yourself, but your partner can die too. And so my partner just died because he just got grabbed straight away and died. I lost 40 minutes of progress. That happened to me twice. Twice I have lost 40 minutes of fucking progress. this is one of the most frustrating games I have ever played, and I now finally understand why I have not heard more about it. And what's really frustrating is if you take away all the shit I'm after talking about it, if you take that away, this is fun. This is stupid, campy Resident Evil. The environments are really good. The zombies are fun. The cutscenes are really terribly acted in places in the best possible way, and I like it. And I'm probably going to finish it, but Jesus, this is frustrating. This is so frustrating.
It's a slog.
Imagine if they made early Resident Evil games way clumsier.
This is the first time they implemented that system, and the last time they did it as well. Like, they clearly learned it was awful. I like to call it the Cluedo mechanic, where one item can only exist in one room at one time, and one character can only really exist in one room at one time.
But they're constantly in the way of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it is super frustrating. But like, as you said, that's a fun story. Like, that's Rebecca's story.
And I'm
that's
enjoying
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Like, I really am. And like the bad guy is like this long-haired vampire monk who like sings, and when he sings, all these like mutant leeches come to life and turn into people and then turn back into leeches. And Wesker's there, and Wesker's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, you know, he's the non-Umbrella Resident Evil bad guy who Umbrella have ruined his life, and now he's bad. Like, he's the same guy we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna beat this game. I think I'm actually gonna go back and replay that section again because I actually do like it. But Jesus, the quality of life issues with this game are some of the worst I've ever seen.
I found it so frustrating. The only way I got through it was with a guide.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, honestly, I'd recommend a guide.
And even some of the like puzzles and environments are not well designed. You know the Resident Evil glints? You know items do that. Any item you can pick up has that glint where like a gradient of white moves past it, makes it look like it's shining. Other stuff in the environment does that is not item pickups. And so you run around this. So if you run to a dead end, you will run around this table trying to figure out why you can't pick up this gleaming glass, and it is. I really want to like this game, but fucking hell.
And fuck Billy.
Fuck Billy. Not a character that has aged well.
Nope.
His late 90s misogyny did not age with the times. Brian.
Yeah.
Take us out of this dark hole.
Okay, I started playing Hollow Knight on the Switch. Based on a lot of the games we've just talked about, Hollow Knight is kind of a mishmash of all of it. Hollow Knight is a game that came out on Steam in early 2017 and has just been released on the Switch. And it's made by Studio Cherry. I think that's what they're called.
I think so.
And it's a 3-person development team in Australia. And a 4th person who did the music and sound design. I didn't know this was a Kickstarter game because it doesn't feel like one. This is a really, really well-made game. I've played 24 hours of Hollow Knight and I'm nowhere near the end because I suck at this game.
Is it hard?
It's so fucking hard. Like, so hard. It's a mix of Metroidvania, but it has Dark Soul mechanics in it. You play, so like it's 2D animated and it looks like it's done kind of in flash animation style. Kind of feels like Bidey of Brackenwood, the Newground series. Like, it doesn't look like Ori and the Blind Forest or anything like that, but it has really, really nice visuals where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could totally see how they made this game. And there's nothing like too difficult technology-wise. They've really lent all their like strengths towards this game. But holy shit, this game is hard, and there's no like real waypoints on where to go, so you have to read an online guide or talk to other people who are playing this game, which is kind of what I've ended up doing. There's like 4 people at work who have also got this game, so we're like sharing and swapping info about certain doors you go in. But they've really done a great job of it being a Metroidvania in that you kind of explore like 3 or 4 areas, and then the game really opens up and you can go wherever you want, and the only thing that'll like hold you back is that you might not have the double jump to get up to a certain area. But each area has 2 or 3 entrances and exits. So for one of the areas, I actually went through the back door rather than the front door, and I did experience the area. It's just I experienced it in reverse. But they have the game designed so that the game never kind of like breaks because you've gone this way. Which is really, really cool. Like, they've really thought about all the possibilities.
Does it have a narrative?
Very vague narrative, just like Dark Souls, where it's all environmental.
Definitely looks very Dark Souls inspired.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching YouTube videos afterwards about lore, because I'm missing a lot of lore. And I found this cool ability where you can attack enemies, but it doesn't damage them. It just refills your healing meter. But when you do, you can read their thoughts for a sec, and it'll just kind of like have their last bit of motivation, because all the enemies are kind of like parasitic zombies. So they're like little beetle people, or kind of insects, and you're just playing a character called like the Wanderer or the Knight. And it has a Dark Souls mechanic in that you'll die, and then you can go back to your shadow, and you have to fight it, and then you'll get all your currency back. But it kind of has this weird thing where it has a bunch of different currencies, and one of the currencies is just used for shops. But there's a finite amount of things you can buy. So once you've bought out all the shops, that currency means nothing.
So then what motivates you to go back and fight your shadow?
Nothing. Like, you could just leave it. The only thing that would motivate you is that you have 2/3 maximum health without your shadow. And like, if you want a full health meter, you need to get your shadow back.
Right.
But like, the easiest way to solve that is to just die again closer to a respawn bench. So instead of bonfires or the lamps in Bloodborne, you have these benches that you sit on, and you'll just sit on a bench, and then you can like sort out your stats from there. But a lot of the gameplay is kind of like Super Meat Boy. It's very like slidey, precision, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Quick controls, and a lot of the like puzzles that you might do. So like you've got your kind of like main game direction, but then there'll be like a little gap, and it'll be like Metroid, where it'll be like a missile expansion, but you kind of have to do this like wall to wall leaping, avoiding the thorny walls kind of thing to get to it. But it's very easy to die, and when you respawn, you don't respawn where you were like you would in Super Meat Boy or something, but you respawn like back at the bench, and so you have to go 2 or 3 minutes back to where you were to try it again. So it's a quick reflex game, but then the spawn and save points don't complement that at all.
Sure.
So there's certain things that fight against it. But then like, I really, really like the atmosphere of this game, and even though I'm really, really bad at it, I'm still determined to finish it.
You having a good time with this one, Brian?
I don't know if I'm having a good time anymore.
Okay.
Like, you need to play this with a wiki or a walkthrough, because the game doesn't telegraph enough on where to go.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that it's easy to get lost.
Do you guys think, just in general, is that a knock against a game?
I don't mind it for an hour or two, but I'm wasting time. And I like something like Metroid Prime wouldn't tell you where to go, but like, if you were like wasting enough time, it would tell you like, oh, there's actually a suspicious like signal from here. Maybe you should check this out.
The environment kind of lets you know.
Yeah.
Like in Bloodborne, I haven't been touching a guide, but like, I can get through it and I can experience it kind of.
I feel like if a game wants to throw a wall at me, I'm fine. Like, if you want to hit me with like a really tough boss or like a tough puzzle or something like that, that's totally fine. If I hit a point in your game where I'm like, I don't know what to do next, I feel like then that's a designer has fucked up.
This definitely feels like that.
Okay.
And like, I really, really like this game, and at one point I loved it, but now I'm kind of like bit disappointed in parts of it.
Right, okay.
But like, I do recommend this game. It's one of my favorite games I played this year. I wish it ranked higher. Like, at one point I was like, because I think so far my favorite game I played this year is Owlboy, and I was like, I think this is better than Owlboy. But now I'm like, no, it's not as good as Owlboy.
Because Owlboy came, did its thing, and then left.
Yeah, this is kind of frustrating my time and patience a lot now.
Yeah.
And like, I know with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, like, there is a bit of monotony to it, but eventually you kind of figure out what to do. With this, like, it's not done very well. And like, the one thing I kind of wish it did, because it borrows a lot of Dark Souls mechanics, I wish you could like, because like, it's done it once or twice where you'll explore an area and then you'll break a wall and you'll end up back where you started, so then you've made yourself a shortcut, which is great. because there are boss battles and you do need like a quick route to get back to the boss,
Yeah.
because you're going to end up fighting them 20-30 times until you learn off their pattern and defeat them. But with this, they don't have like a real like straight line path to them. Like you do have to kind of go the long way a lot of the time, and that kind of eats away at your health, and it's not fun to get to the boss.
Yeah.
Anything I've seen of Hollow Knight, it's always been a purple and black background.
Yeah.
Do the environments change, or is it always the kind of same color palette?
That's the majority of it. There is a few colored areas. Like there's one area I found which is like a honeycomb hive and all the enemies are bees.
Oh, cool.
That place is great. A lot of it is I have to play the TV on vivid mode, or if I'm playing in handheld, I have to have the brightness up 100%.
Oh, that sucks.
Because the background elements and foreground elements blend into each other, because everything is different shades of grey.
It's that very like rich purple that's nearly on black kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would not print well if that was...
No, it would not.
Yeah.
You need to have brightness up at full, because and like it lends itself to the world because you are going deeper underground into a nest, and it is a maze-like game, and that's part of
I saw an interview with the developer saying they wanted to create that feeling of being lost.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel every day, so I don't know why I don't know if I'd enjoy that.
Like it's got some cool things where you'll arrive to a new area and you don't have a map, but you'll find a map maker and then you'll have a map. But then you have the option to put a compass on that map to see where you are at all times. But the compass costs like a weapon upgrade slot. So you use that when you're exploring, but when you fight the bosses you don't have it equipped. So then you can spec your character with a better dash.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like it's got some really clever stuff that I'd love to see in other games. But then I wish there was stuff from other games that I wish was in it, because it's borrowing from other games. It's just doesn't borrow everything it could.
Sure, yeah.
But I do recommend this game if you're interested in what I've said, or like it looks amazing and it's real fun to play. It's just I wish I loved it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty healthy mix of games. So let's say we move into Quicktime Events. Okay, so we only have 2 stories in the wake of E3, and I want to talk about a little story about the Atari VCS console. Have either of you guys heard about this?
I've heard it's a mess.
Okay, this is fun. So basically, Atari have had all kinds of... Okay, so if you're not familiar with Atari, there's a company right now called Atari. This is not the same company that made the Atari console back in the day. This is a company that bought their intellectual property and brand and have been releasing lifestyle products such as the famed Atari speaker cap, which has a speaker in the peak of the cap to let you live out all your most rockin' fantasies just on the bus or wherever.
Wow, only an asshole would own that as a product.
Absolutely.
That is the worst thing.
Yep. And so basically there's this website called The Register, and The Register were invited, I think it was either during E3 or GDC or something, but they were invited to come take a look at the new Atari console, and they wrote a really scathing article about it afterwards, being like, they couldn't tell us anything. This console was meant to have released on December 9th of last year. On December 9th.
And is this like a SNES Mini kind of thing?
Yeah, like what kind of console is this? Does it play
This is meant
old
to be
Atari games?
It's really hard to pin them down. This sounds like an Ouya, except it's called an Atari.
Oh.
Like they sound like they want to make a indie console.
It's a little micro console with USBs.
Yeah, that runs on kind of like Android.
Which is like, I just don't think that's ever going to be a platform for indies, because indies work fine on PS4, they work fine on Switch, they work fine on Steam, It's like, but anyway. And so on December 9th, the day of release, they said, hey, we're delaying the release of the console.
Sweet.
And was this kickstarted so people have paid for this?
$2 million on Kickstarter.
Wow, okay.
So this magazine, The Register anyway, comes and it's like, it takes a look at the console and they're like, okay, here's our article. They haven't decided on a chipset. They haven't decided on a chip for a console that was meant to have come out 7 months ago. They can't tell us if the controllers work in other consoles. They can't tell us what developers are developing on it. They can't tell us anything about it. And sort of like, so this thing seems like a fucking train wreck, okay? However, Atari responded to this, and let me just take 2 seconds and find this article because it is really something.
I'll edit it all out.
Or don't. Neve, how are you?
Gay.
You said that. Oh yeah. I guess.
You knew you hit it hard with that line there. Your milk. Why did you wink at me? Now I'm uncomfortable.
Are you gonna ask me, Neve?
How are you, Brian?
Cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
Gay. How are you, John?
Sad.
Sad.
Cute, gay, and sad.
There we go. Those are our spirit diamonds.
Okay, so the register. So here was, they got asked about this question. They said, "Oh, I have some serious concerns about your console." This was just on Facebook, and so, oh no, continue the conversation.
Okay, John and technology, as he's already said, he's kind of racist about the whole thing, and
Jesus,
and his phone, phone doesn't like him.
Yeah, it's. I thought I had it. Okay, here we go. Here we fucking go. So Atari respond. "We honestly can't explain that article either. Our executive sat with that reporter for half an hour and he wrote what he wanted to instead of what we discussed with him. Sadly, there's even irresponsible trolls in, quotation marks, professional positions, I guess. We clearly said that we were bringing engineering design models. One of his criticisms was that they didn't actually have the console there. They had like hunks of plastic.
Yeesh.
And like plastic controllers and stuff. And lots of people... We clearly said that we were bringing engineering design models to GDC, and lots of people clearly don't understand what that means. Hunks of plastic, ? Well, yeah, that's how you finalize the designs and confirm that you can get the look and feel you want for the finished product. And then just one word to end it. I love it when people do this. It always makes people sound so good. Sad, full stop.
Oh, God.
Like the President of America tweets.
Oh yeah, he does, yeah.
Perfect.
He just punctuates with a single word.
Yep, sad. But the delicious part is that the register came back and they were like, okay, if that's how you want to play this, here's every paragraph from what we said, and here is the live recording of you guys saying it. And it is just this brutal takedown where like they've obviously sent what sounds like a very experienced tech journalist to review this piece of technology. He asked them a lot of questions, and the answers he get are fucking gibberish. Like there's a bit where they're like, the launch of a console is like the launch of a space rocket. Like no one really knows what's going to happen.
Oh my God.
And the guy is just like, I think they're very different things. And it's just, if you enjoy someone really just getting getting called on their bullshit, you should read this article where they're just like, bang, bang. We said this, here it is live recording. We said this, here it is in live recording.
Instant karma, feels good.
It sounded like a piece of shit beforehand. Now it sounds like a fucking scam.
Woo! I don't like... Oh, I feel bad for everyone who's kickstarted this, but the fact that you have said that they bought the brand name and it's a lifestyle brand. I don't know why fans of Atari would pump money into this unless they didn't know that.
Because I don't think they know that.
That's nuts.
Like, the Atari t-shirts you see?
Yeah.
That's not the people who made that console. That's a different company that has cut the face off a dead body and is now wearing it.
Yeah, like you always see them in like high-end fashion stores, and it's just like they just have a license and they're just showing it off.
Yep.
You think if you're going to kickstart a console, like I wonder how much the lowest bid was, like, the lowest tier to get a physical console was?
Yeah, I have no idea. I think they got 11,000 backers.
No, that's 11,000 very annoyed people.
Yeah.
I bet you that money's gone.
Oh,
long gone.
For sure. It takes a lot more than $2 million to develop a console. You could barely make a game with $2 million. You would have to make the most tightest, controlled game for $2 million. the idea that you could build a fucking console with that, like even licensing software alone, like impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Neve, Life is Strange 2, and I knew it was Neve who wrote this because it said Life is Strange 2 begins September 29th.
Oh, I did. 27th. That's literally all we got. They put out a little trailer where it was stitching on a bag saying Life is Strange 2.
Yeah.
And I thought this was interesting because like no announcement for this at E3, and then like it comes out like maybe like a week and a half early, like later, that there's the release date for it.
Well, they had to make room for Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
That is true.
From what I've read of this, the first episode is on September 27th.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-episode series.
Yeah.
And the save from the little boy game, Captain Spirit?
Captain Spirit.
The save from Captain Spirit carries over into this.
What I assume is it's going to be Captain Spirit, that boy, as a teenager now, in the same way, like same max age rating, and it'll be his story.
If they did that, I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like more just the prequel and then the thing. Like that's kind of, yeah.
Anyway, September 27th, coming much sooner than we thought, and I'm looking forward to it. Although Vampyr, I don't know. I guess they're putting all their time into Life is Strange because they didn't put it into Vampyr.
It's nearly like they accidentally made a really good lesbian game once.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
No, look, we'll see. I'm going to play the adventures of Spirit Boy or whatever the fuck, and we'll see how it goes.
Enjoy that, Neve, because I think out of the three of us, you will be the most positioned to hate that.
I'm going to be like real calm about the whole thing and be like, it's alright.
I'm going to be so fucking, you see?
It's gonna be the game of the year 2018.
Yeah, for sure. Captain Spirit.
Nothing else good has come out.
No.
I mean, it's
been a quiet year. I've been playing a lot of older games, which I'm happy about. But
me too. Like, I'm really enjoying going back to Resident Evil 0.
Is God of War gonna win Game of the Year?
yeah, by default.
Or no, I'm calling it now. I'd say Octopath Traveler will win Game of the Year.
Are you talking about Game of the Year or our Game of the Year?
Oh,
our Game of the Year.
Our Game of the Year.
I'm just calling it now.
Octopath, probably.
Because Neve's gonna like bully us into it. And like for me, I'll be like, guys, Owlboys are my top 5, and you'll be like, that's nice, Brian. That's
Yeah, congratulations on number 18, L-Boy.
yeah, good for you, Brian.
I'm a hope, like Octopath is like all my hope is like resting on Octopath's shoulders for my good game of 2018.
The demo for Octopath is one of the best experiences I had. Like, it's fuck. I
So
don't know.
great.
Like, when I try and think of like what's my game of the year so far this year, and if I'm really honest, it's like fucking Yakuza 6, and I hate that because Yakuza 0 was my game of the year last year.
I think the game, like God of War is going to be on everyone's game.
Oh,
of the year
no
list.
question.
Like 100%.
No question.
Yeah, it's going to be in every top 5. 'Cause it's really, really polished.
But like at the end of the year, the tail end of the year, there's some good stuff coming out. There's a Tomb Raider will be coming out.
But they kind of get rushed with reviews.
Yeah.
Well, I think Tomb Raider should be okay because it's
What
September.
do we got at the end of the year?
Fuck.
September, Assassin's Creed Odyssey will be out as well. So they're like that for me. Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed will be like what I'm hoping will be good.
Smash is out the end of December or at the start of December, but that's gonna like struggle with reviews because it's too close to the end of the year. That it's gonna be like, yeah, it's good, but I kind of had to like rush my thoughts on it. It's not like I got to play it and then like think about it for a month.
I could not see Smash ranking that high for us either, unless they are really holding back their hand with that thing.
Yeah.
Because like I was even looking at more footage of it, and man, it's such a bummer. And I saw people saying it has a new engine. Then make it more different. Why would you recreate that game exactly the same?
Like Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 look completely different.
Yes.
Why isn't this the same as that?
Yeah.
Just put that saturation slider up like 5 notches. It's so washed out.
Just add like paint blurs whenever they attack. Just give it some style.
I agree, totally.
Is there any game that you're looking forward to that's coming out?
I'm sure there's something, but I can't.
Nah.
Like,
nothing on your list, Brian?
I'm excited to play the Shenmue HD remasters.
Are they coming out?
Yeah, they should be coming out this year.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there'll be a bunch of games I'll be excited about later in the year, but there'll be surprises, and that's cool.
Like, I'm okay with that, because all that means is that in the latter half of this year, I'm going to take a risk on a bunch of fucking indie games, and then I'm going to pick one of them and get crucified over it.
Yeah, it's what you usually do.
That's what I usually do.
Like, I really enjoyed Owlboy and Blossom Tales. They were both like cheap games under €15 that meant a lot to me.
Owlboy looks beautiful.
I really think that game is an achievement, that it took 10 years to make, and it's not a fucking piece of shit. Because usually when something is that overbaked, it's a complete mess.
Yeah. Let me do a little search here, because I actually am curious, like, what is left to come out.
Sure. Actually, while John's searching, I'm just going to say it's the summer, everyone, and we're kind of into con season, so our schedule's just going to be a bit patchy here and there. The goal is still to release 2 episodes a month, one at the start of the month, one at the end of the month.
It's just a question of when during that month.
Yeah. What we'll probably do is, if you're a patron on the Discord server, I'll make a post there, but we'll also have it on the Twitter, which is at Let's Fight a Boss. But I'll give it like a 2 or 3 day heads up that, hey, we've recorded an episode, it's being edited now, we're estimating this day.
Yeah, there's not going to be any massive gaps, but like it's just going to be a little patchier than usual.
But please bear with us, and if you're at Anime Expo, Con Bravo, and even our own Dublin Comic Con.
And FlameCon.
Oh, and FlameCon, fuck yeah.
One of us will be there.
At least one of us will
Try
be
and
at...
figure out which one will be at FlameCon. What is it, like a gay comic convention?
It's Brian.
Yeah. Woo! I'm the loud one. I'm the one at the fucking front of the parade. Did you watch that comedian? Did you watch... Oh, I can't remember her name.
Code of Princess is coming to Switch.
What's Code of Princess?
It's a sexy beat 'em up where you play sexy girls.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Okay, WarioWare Gold. Yeah. Okami HD coming to Switch.
Okay.
Do HD remasters count as best old game like fodder, or is that possible for best game of the year?
I usually just rank it as a new game because like they printed off new copies of it.
Sure. Like I think with that stuff, throw it in there. I think the fact that it has already come out or that is a remaster should go against it, but I still think it should have a chance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, hold the phone. Yakuza Kiwami 2.
That's out at the end of August, yeah. There's a very special girl I know that's looking forward to that.
Thank you, Brian. I'm very excited. Valkyrie Chronicles 4, if anyone gives a shit about that.
There you go, everyone. Your favorite series is back for another installment.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
WWE 2K19.
Wrestling games, they're still going.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, is that coming out this year?
That's coming out at the end of October. I think it's like
wow.
I think it's like 27th of October.
Okay, that will be people's number one. Giant Bomb's number one will be Red Dead 2. Their number 2 will be
Fortnite or something.
No, God of War.
Yeah.
And then they'll fight about some anime bullshit.
Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. I'm very excited for that. On Yoshi title.
That's not coming out
it's
until...
meant to be...
The Yoshi game isn't coming out until 2019.
Or is that a prediction or is that confirmed?
The eShop pushed it to 2019.
Okay.
It's in development hell.
But yeah, if I'm excited for one thing this year, it's Yakuza Kiwami 2 and Travis Strikes Again. Because I can't believe No More Heroes is alive.
Hopefully it'll be good.
I really hope so. I don't love what I've seen, but I have faith in that developer to do cool stuff.
Did they show that at E3 at all?
No.
Nope.
Imagine how much better that whole press conference would have been if they had just shown a little snippet of Bayonetta 3, a little snippet of Travis Strikes Again,
and Metroid Prime 4.
and announced Mother 4.
Oh.
That's all I ask.
Maybe that fan Mother 4 game will come out. It's supposed to come out in 2015, so any day now.
Literally any day.
Yeah.
Although I think they said that they're not making it Mother 4 anymore. I think they said that they're making it their own game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
They've worked so hard in it, they may as well own it 100%.
Yeah, totally.
Neil, when's FlameCon?
It's an LGBT
No, but
nerd
when?
convention in August in New York.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of cons this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
And if we're not at your con, just get them to invite us, just saying. Or invite one of us and the other will tag along. I don't know. Just beg at the organisers.
If you want us to show up at your con, email your organisers.
That's the best way to do that. Met a lot of big shout out to all Let's Fight a Boss people. I met
QCon.
Jesus, yep. Okay, so I sell prints sometimes at cons. And
You're in the artist alley selling your wares.
Yep. And I did a print for this character I really like, Android 21 from Dragon Ball FighterZ. And it was only upon finishing that print did I realize it might have had very slight vor undertones.
Jesus.
Rebecca told me about this, and I was like, "How? How did he even get that into a print?"
He's just a hungry boy.
It's just her special. Like, she's like Imogen. She's like Boo, you know.
So she absorbs.
She loves to fucking eat shit. She turns people into sweets and eat them. So I thought, it'd be real cute if I drew like Goku and Vegeta as like little macaroons. And she's like, I'm gonna eat you. And then I was like, and so then I worked on that for like 10 hours and had it printed. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh no.
Okay, you're doing nothing to help yourself with this.
I know. And then some fucking this. He didn't even say he's a fan of the podcast, but I know he is because he just comes up and he points at it and he goes, "And you say you're not into vor."
Oh, nice.
For like a while last month, I was like, they're kind of being a bit mean with the whole Josh the vor fetishist.
Who said? No one said that, did they? Do people feel no one in this fandom feels sorry for me? They're the worst ones.
No, I felt sorry.
Okay.
Because usually it's me who starts it, and then I'm like, oh, I have to put out this fire now. But I can't put out this fire because you keep burning it.
Yeah, you keep bringing it up. Like, we're ready to let it go, and you're like, I love being eaten.
That's not what I said.
Yum in my tummy.
If that were a thing, if I were into that, I would tell you because you guys know all my weird shit.
God,
it's not. It's just a series of really unfortunate like coincidences that
John's into so much weird shit, you guys.
No, let's not go. Emails.
Okay, because the news was so light, we said at the last episode we're gonna do a very email heavy episode, but it was gonna be a priority of quickfire questions because they're a lot of fun. So we got loads and loads of emails. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, our email is askletsfightaboss@gmail.com. And I've got a few. I'm going to start doing a few, and then Neve, I might hand them over to you afterwards. Okay. In no particular order. Okay, this is from Sean. Favorite JoJo, and why is Jolene your answer?
Jolene, because she's a strong lady.
I like Gappy from Part 8.
I like Jolene, but my favorite's Dio.
There you go. Okay, what JoJo's...
Sexy vampire.
Yeah.
Okay. What JoJo's part had the best plot? What JoJo had the best characters? What is your favorite panel art from JoJo?
Dio back pose, where like Joseph takes a photo of sexy Dio.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good shot. My favorite is it best characters? I think honestly part 4.
Yeah, same for me.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, part 4 for all of us.
Best plot, I think part 7.
Same.
Part 8.
The plot of part 8 is very good, but
I
but
could see that.
but because part 8's still ongoing, I'm worried it might get retconned because it's a mystery. But I'm going to be optimistically cautious about the whole thing.
The first, I feel like I've seen people online say like the part 8 starts very slow.
It does.
I actually like just from off the bat I was like I so
liked
into
it.
this. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I think my favorite panel is from part 8. It's from a flashback with Damo where he is folding a 1,000 yen note and it's taking up the entire panel, and in the background you could see like an entire like pier with yachts and like leisure boats.
Yeah.
And it's just the most detailed drawing.
Favorite panel. That's a tough one. I think I'd have to think about that one. But
Would it just be Okuyasu like spitting a tooth out of his mouth or something?
Maybe. There is one drawing of Giorno that I really love, but it's not a panel, it's in one of the art books. And it's like a real tight shot in his face, and there's kind of flower petals. It's like the real quintessential Giorno one, if you know that one.
Yeah.
I really love that piece of art so much. I think it's just beautiful.
People are so pissed that it's pink journo.
Yeah,
What?
why?
I don't.
That's what
I don't
that's
get
what
it
it is in my head.
Yeah, hot
Yeah.
pink. He's fucking class.
It looks so much better than the blue.
He looks like a car.
Not want to drag this out, but the super action statues, the first one you can get of Giorno is the pink version, and they're all the colors for those are all picked by the man himself. So it's the
I think-
official default color for
I
Giorno.
think the pink makes him stand out, especially in a full lineup. Because
Yeah.
like the people who have blue, like Jonathan has blue, Jotaro has blue, Jolene has blue.
Johnny's blue as well.
The pink makes him stand out, and he's such an effeminate little guy as well. It suits him. Like,
Yeah.
With his blonde hair, it really looks good. Like it really it separates him from the others
and
in
I
such
think
a good way.
the key art. I think we talked about it. I can't remember, but the key art they've released from part 5 looks amazing.
It does. It
Yeah,
looks
it
really
really
cool.
does.
Hope it
It's
like
got a loose style to it.
yeah. Hope it animates well because like those are
Yeah.
very detailed. But even if it doesn't, if the art's that gorgeous, I can let that go.
Yeah. Okay, best side character in JoJo. For me, it's Koichi. Love that guy.
Paul Nerd.
That's insane.
He's brilliant. He's so good they brought him
I've,
back.
I've given my anti-Koichi spiel before.
Yeah.
I like Paul
Paul
Nerd,
Paul Nerd's
yeah.
brilliant. He's a lot of fun. Anna Sui, John, your favorite.
No. I like... It's really hard to choose. I love Okuyasu and I love Rohan. I kind of feel like the worst parts about those characters because like I'm as stupid as Okuyasu and as bitter as Rohan.
Okay.
Yeah, but Rohan's super sexy and talented, so
Yeah.
And then the last question is just about expressing your true self.
Wait.
But like, but
Whoa.
like, but like,
Hang on a minute.
but it's not really a quick fire question. So I'm just gonna say, Sean, we loved your email, and this is who you are, and you should strike that pose. Okay,
Wait, no. What, is there a question?
it's not really a
You
question.
got all me geared.
It's just it's just a feeling we all have.
Sean, Brian ate your question. You're not allowed
So
to have an
sorry,
answer.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. All right. This one is from Jack, and it says, "You're on a desert island, and you only have one fighting game. What is it?"
Third strike.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax Suplex Hold.
Does it have to be a fighting game?
Just pick one of your fucking Tekken games, Neve.
Tekken 5 or Tekken 3 because of Tekken Force.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, this is
You're not wrong. Yeah.
This is from Fuya. Name a non-anime show, movie, series that you would love to see as a fighting game. For me, that would be The Wire. There's a huge roster, great range of characters. I'd play as Bubbles.
I would live to see Arc System Works Sopranos.
Fuck yeah.
Sex in the City.
Yeah,
That's a really good
that's
answer.
a good one.
Okay.
Because you got your 4 mains. Mm-hmm. Final boss big.
Yeah, oh totally.
Yeah.
Okay, but who's making it? Namco Bandai?
Yeah, maybe. I like the idea of like big as the boss because he would have like he's just massive, but his like attack is where he just keeps walking forward and kind of laughs at you. And like Kari just has to, her attack is just writing articles after articles.
Here's
and
your
the more
sparkle,
scathing
baby.
they are.
What outfit is she in? Whenever I think of her, I see her as that really awful outfit from the first Sex and the City movie where she looks like a weird ice cream.
She should be in her pink tutu.
Yeah, I was gonna say her
Oh, yeah.
sad pink tutor.
That shows off way too much of her shape, and you don't want to see that.
Brian, don't be mean.
Miranda sexes everyone to
She's
death.
crap.
And then like Miranda's special is that time she had sex with the firefighter, but it's like a fire it's a fire truck that just comes in and runs over people. And she goes,
How's
"Hello."
everybody?
Sex in the foreground.
Here's the fire department. Put me out.
Oh, Brian, Samantha's impersonation is here. Go on, Brian, keep going.
Miranda has her fucking baby and she throws it at you.
Jesus.
But then the baby like turns into her like husband with the backwards baseball cap, and he's like, "Miranda, I want to go play card games with the boys."
Charlotte's is a whole pile of like Cavalier King Charles that rush you.
For some reason, there was something about Charlotte that made me really uncomfortable, and I never figured it out.
She's very lonely, like as a character. She's sad as a character.
I think it's in Sex and the City 1, but her story arc in that is that she shits her pants. And that's
See a sad character.
and like that's all the interesting stuff that happens to her.
My mom phoned me up one day and she was like, John, would you go see Sex and the City movie with me? Because no one else will. I was like, sure, Mom. I went to see it. And I was the only boy in that cinema.
And it was a great time.
It was. She enjoyed herself. And that's all that matters.
I saw Crossroads in the cinema. I was also the only boy. I like that film.
I saw The Truman Show in the cinema and I was the only person there.
Oh, wow.
It was so weird. I was like, am I in
That's
The Truman Show?
kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's a really good film for that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Adam. What games have you played where the sound design seemed crucial for your enjoyment of exploration? For me, that'd be the Metroid Prime series. Sound design of like the atmosphere, audio, sound effects, everything is so good. Really kind of makes you play it at a slower pace and check out the surroundings, and it's totally worth it because that's an exploration game.
God of War 2018. That game is good, but it would literally be nothing without the sound design. That sound design can shake you.
Kind of obvious one, but Silent Hill 2. Absolutely, like that. That game is that sound design.
Great question. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
What a gem.
Adam. Classic Adam.
Classic Adam. Always at it with them questions.
All right. This is from Emily, and she has 3 whole questions for us.
Fuck, okay.
How does John struggle? Well, not really struggle.
Well, I just kind of like mix of just depression and anxiety, I guess.
How does John come up with the titles for Neve and Brian?
Okay. I don't overthink them. A lot of times they just come to me, which is why most of them are bad and the occasional one's very good.
Okay. Does Brian have a weak spot, and how do I hit it?
Yes, he does. Brian, there are certain things that make Brian just fucking furious.
Yep.
And I know some of them. One of them he mentioned before the podcast is flat earthers. Brian has no time. If I start shooting the shit and I start pitching some flat earth,
Brian, he's doing a bit.
Brian wants none of it. Like, he doesn't even. And normally,
it makes me uncomfortable.
Normally, if I wanna act the bollocks, Brian will be right there with me. But he will not touch flat earth stuff.
No,
It's nearly like he's scared of the truth.
Jesus.
It's hard when you know it's true, isn't it?
It's really not true. That's the whole thing.
It really scares me as well. Like, I'm with Brian on this because so many people are in on it now that, like, people ignore actual scientific facts.
Like to me, flat earthers are like anti-vaxxers.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're so
Totally.
wrong.
That it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why you can't book a flight from west to east. Why won't they fly us there? What's there?
Jesus.
What is it?
How do planes work?
Do you know the thing that I do find kind of hard about flat earth? Like, just the most basic. You can see the curve of the earth. Is that an illusion? Are we on a giant disc? Is it a disc?
They keep saying you can't.
Is it a
The one thing
is it a time cube?
drives me nuts about flat Earth theory is the idea that we're surrounded by water all the time and there's a whale god in it.
That's like fucking Terry Pratchett shit at that point.
I know. And like, you keep going further with, like, I was just like, okay, I'll watch a video, and I had someone who watches a lot of these videos for fun explain it to me, and like, it ends up with we're surrounded by water at all times, like the flat earth. Because I was like, is there space around it? And they're like, no, water.
So just infinite water.
Yeah.
So space is real, but it's full of water.
Yeah.
And we're on. Another thing that will really, really upset Brian is if someone forgets his name, or, I'm sorry everybody, spells his name incorrectly.
Yes, it's Brian with a Y.
He's doesn't love dicking around with that kind of thing.
I really don't appreciate it when my grandmother says happy birthday Brian, but it's Brian with an I, and I know she's 90 and I love her to bits, but like, you know,
just because she's is this in writing or is she speaking?
In writing, in birthday cards.
Okay, yeah.
I once wrote a Christmas card to you that said, like, Merry Christmas, Brain.
Well, you know what? I actually prefer Brain to that.
And I had to scrap it and write a different one.
I think one time I got one where it was like happy birthday Brian, but it was like the shrimp.
B-R-I-N-E.
Yeah, like the fucking food that whales eat.
If I come on to Brian, it'll freak him out as well.
Yeah, but I'll just lick your nose.
But no, if you do that, and I'm like, that's fine, sweetie, that will scare the shit out of you, and that's only happened once, but you freaked the fuck out.
Okay. I think we need to revisit that at Con Bravo. We're gonna have a
Horny time.
It was many years ago, so your tolerance has probably grown. But I don't
We
remember
are gonna squeeze it out in the bed.
Okay, let's keep going with Emily's questions.
Okay, the third question, which is kind of broken into bits, is I'm kind of curious about the audience of the podcast. Do you know the male to female ratio, age range, which country they're from? Are there any fans that surprise you that happen to listen to this podcast?
From what the analytics show, it is 67% American,
Thank you, guys.
then UK, then Germany, then Ireland, I think, is what we're kind of at.
Yeah.
Age range,
Late teens to early 20s.
it varies wildly. I've met like 13-year-olds who are into it, but I've also met like 36-year-olds, 40-year-olds. When I find out there's like 14-year-olds listening, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, I have a real moment then where I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
no.
yeah.
Not that we don't appreciate our younger listeners, but it's more just like, oh, I wouldn't say this shit to a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not ready for this.
Demographic, it seems to be majority male.
But not that a majority, which is good.
Yeah.
Do we know what?
I saw from like YouTube, I think it was like, God, I think it was like 2% male.
Really?
But that's from YouTube. We don't
That's
get
actually-
any analytics from like anything
That's
else.
actually pretty. That would be very if it's like 1 in 5 is female, that's really high for a video game podcast.
Yeah, to be fair, it is.
And like maybe it's just that not a lot of our female listeners are using YouTube specifically, but even just going from emails, Emily, it does stand out that you are a girl.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, and then just, are there any fans that surprise you that listen to the podcast?
Racists
Yeah. Racists and people who...
and homophobes.
Yeah, just people who send us emails that were just like, maybe this isn't for you and you aren't for us, but we're not going to reply to you.
Yeah, never.
A lot of people at work listen to it.
Yeah, a lot of
And
people from real life. That always weirds me out.
Yeah, like I had lunch with a friend the other day and he was like, oh, I've been listening to you all week, so this is kind of weird. And I was like, well, do you want to do the talking then? Because you've heard all
I
about...
fucking hate that. Isn't that the
like
worst?
you've heard about my fucking stupid opinions. Let me hear your dumb thoughts. We could be stupid together then.
Yeah, real life listening. I was like working in a studio once, and the new episode went up, and there was 5 people around me listening to it in real time, and I could hear my voice through one of their headphones, and I was like, no.
Sometimes I'll be out with someone and like halfway through they'll be like, oh yeah, I listened to your podcast, and it's like I kind of feel like I'm trapped or something.
Don't listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
No, do. But
I like to cultivate a very specific version of myself for people, and then it like all like once I know people listen to the podcast, it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm really like.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, you know
Yeah.
so much more than I'm comfortable with.
And you know so much more about me than I'll ever know about you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you always have the upper hand
imagine
here.
someone who's been listening since like episode 30. Like even not mind the not mind the black tapes. Imagine just episode 30. Like how many hours of just listening to us continuously talk.
it's about 70 hours worth of bullshit right there.
That's a lot of fucking data.
Okay.
I remember I was at I think it was Erdicon before. No, JCon.
JCon was last
And
year.
I had
yeah.
a little meetup afterwards, and there was this group of lads there, and one of them was like, oh yeah, because you need to like eat every hour and a half, and all his friends laughed because they all got it because they all listened to the podcast, and it was so fucking weird because I was just like, this group of strangers knows personal things about me.
And you know nothing about
Nothing.
them.
I don't know who these people are.
You've got no ammo to like quit back at them.
No.
So you just have to take it and be like, haha, good one.
Note to self, stop saying weird shit on the podcast. And here we are, 70 episodes later. Bore everybody.
Okay, this one is from Ben, and thank you for this email, Ben. We're going to try and be as quick as we can about this. What are our thoughts about the Thundercats reboot series?
I think the backlash against it's stupid and ridiculous.
I agree. Looks brilliant.
I think it looks really, really fun. I'm going to address a few quick things. People say that it looks like every CalArts show. Not wrong. Go back to the 80s. Look at how every character looks like an action figure because they were trying to sell action figures. They all had that super masculine look to them. Art has periods. Things grow in stages. it doesn't look like, if you think it looks exactly like Adventure Time, if you think it looks exactly like Steven Universe, you are not looking at those shows very clearly. If you think Thundercats is a genuinely fantastic, amazing show, I think you should go back and watch more Thundercats.
Yes.
Not just the intro. That intro, fucking incredible. An absolutely timeless masterpiece of animation. Thundercats as a TV show, from its visuals to its story to its characters, go back and try and watch a season.
I did that in college because I really liked Thundercats when I was younger, and I was just like, I think the DVDs or the Blu-rays came out while I was in college, so I ended up getting them, and like, they are all, you know, educational, and Lionel learned about pride, like that is it.
Maybe
every
I'd love to
episode.
hear you do that voice in just a series.
And it's just like, I was like, oh, this is what it is. So the people complaining that this isn't true to Thundercats and stuff have not watched Thundercats. They're going completely off their mental image of what that was like when they were a child and getting fucking riled up for no reason. And also what really annoys me about it is there was a Thundercats that you were looking at, the 2011 one.
Yeah, it ran for 2 seasons.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That is a good show.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit. Mm-hmm. No one gave a shit at...
So this is the best decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the fun of adaptation. I love that we can have Thundercats from 3 different periods with 3 very distinct styles. It's like this like kind of map of animation through the years as well, and what's popular and what works in studios and what looks cool.
Yeah,
and
with Mickey Mouse, there's been like 10 different iterations of Mickey that's gone from like rubber hose style to UPA style to a more finished style to now it has like a Toon Boom Harmony look.
Kingdom Hearts.
I've also seen people break down the animation like kind of frame by frame and be like, oh, it looks real fucked up in this frame. Breaking down animation in betweens is the lowest form of animation criticism. It is such a stupid thing people do. And then people are saying, well, like, oh, you know, it's just manipulating the bodies, it's really lazy animation. That's just a different style of animation. That's super limited animation. I worked on a bunch of TV shows. Most of them worked like that. Some of them still looked incredible. And I like I like the animation for this. I think it's expressive and I think it's really fun. I don't care that much about it. Like, I don't think it looks like the best thing in the world, but I was like, oh, cool, that's a weird thing to do with Thundercats.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely caught my attention more than if it would have if it looked like the 80s show or the show from the start of this decade.
If they were doing Thundercats again and it looked like the 2011 version or whatever it was, I'd be like, that's insane, because that didn't work.
Yep. So, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, people just fucking chill.
Outrage culture, man.
Outrage culture.
Bored on the internet.
Bored on the internet.
Okay, this is from Tyler.
Tyler, what's up?
Tyler? Just wondering how you guys feel about tattoos. Do you have any? Or would you ever get one? I think John would have a tramp stamp of some big anime boobs.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine having boobs on your lower back.
Yeah, John.
It would just look like weird balls.
That look cool.
Yeah.
John, whose boobs and why?
Fucking seriously?
Go for it. Biking?
No.
Or Mika's.
Or Mika's.
No, it would have to be someone classy.
Oh, you're one from Fire Emblem that you both like. The goth girl.
Tarja?
Yeah, Tarja.
I'm not that into Tarja.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
you're
it's-
into Tarja.
Oh yeah,
right.
she's great. She's
Okay.
top tier. You I can have a think about it.
Okay.
Neve, you've tattoos, don't you?
Yeah, I have a half sleeve.
It's a half sleeve of a coral aquarium kind of thing. It's got
Some fish.
a clownfish. It's got an octopus. The clownfish sometimes looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, Brian."
I was actually thinking about getting a new tattoo, a Star Wars one, because I've wanted a Star Wars tattoo for the longest time. But I am so torn. Like, I was like ready to email the studio being like, "Here, I want to get a Star Wars tattoo," and then that
Remake The Last Jedi.
yeah, just Kelly Marie Tran being like bullied off
God,
the
yeah.
internet, the Last Jedi remake shit all started happening, and I was like, I don't know if I want this on me. And then the other problem I have is a lot of the kind of nicer iconography and some of my favorite designs from it are from the Empire, and they're just space Nazis, and I don't want Empire stuff tattooed on me. So then I'm like, what's nice from the Resistance? And I love the Millennium Falcon, but I don't know if you could like distill that down into a design that would work as a tattoo kind of thing. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what I could get as a Star Wars tattoo.
Frozen Leia.
Get like Han Solo's dice.
That's
Oh, what if it's just text? Greedo shot first.
no.
That'd be pretty
hate
fucking
that.
Sick, wouldn't it?
That would be epic.
Epic.
Okay, I was saying before recording, Neve should like have it should be tattooed on her forehead, and she pulls back the fringe, and it's a porg. I just think that'd be really
See,
cool.
that's cool because it's like sexy and funny.
It's like, hey, I've got a secret to show you. And you could do that. You could like bulge out your eyes.
My porg neck tattoo.
Yeah. Oh, you should definitely get one on your neck. So like every job interview is like, oh yeah, my tattoo looks pretty cool, huh?
Working in animation, no one gives a shit if you have tattoos. I actually think tattoos help in animation because people are like, oh, you're cooler than me. And I'm like, yes, I am, nerd.
I
Give me the
want
job.
I want the Slipknot S tattooed on my neck, but I want it tattooed backwards so when I look in the mirror it looks okay.
It's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who it's for.
Yeah. John, which anime boobs do you want?
Do I have to pick this?
Yeah.
Can I not just say a tattoo I'd actually get?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both.
I don't know. I like tattoos of animals, but I like when it's very stylized. There's a really cool artist I follow on Twitter who does like, they'll draw like a red panda, but it'll be like the most fucking badass looking red panda ever. Like it looks like it's made of smoke and it's super cool.
Oh, Natalie.
Possibly.
Can't think of her name.
But because I've been kind of thinking about getting a tattoo for a long while, but it's kind of like I just need an image that speaks strongly enough to me. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
I don't need it to mean anything. I just need it to look at it and be like, yeah, all right.
And you're comfortable with it on you.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you feel
Natalie
it to be-
Hall, I think you're talking about. She does really cool animals.
No, but that's pretty cool. It's definitely not them.
Go check out Natalie Hall's artwork. It's beautiful.
Okay, we'll do.
That's Neve's loot drop, everyone.
And if I have to get a boob anime girl on my lower back, I guess, I don't know, Faye Valentine maybe? I don't know, she's cool.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
there
that's
you
a
go.
good answer.
I like her.
Yeah, it's relevant.
She's sick.
Okay, this is from Caesar. What game protagonist would you like to see swapped into each other's games? Like swapping Final Fantasy VII, so Cloud for Final Fantasy VII is in Luigi's Mansion.
Okay. That's pretty fun.
Okay, I want Crash Bandicoot in Shenmue.
That's pretty good.
Crash Bandicoot and God of War would be fun because Kratos would be so mad.
Chris Redfield in Animal Crossing.
That's
that was
really
really good.
Yeah.
he's so big.
And like, he's always on the verge of being like, are these things monstrous?
I want Leisure Suit Larry, everyone's fucking favorite.
Ugh, there's a new game
Yeah,
of him
there's
coming
a
out.
fucking thing. I want him in The Last of Us 2.
Azura from Azura's Wrath in Cooking Mama.
Cooking Mama in Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Just to survive.
Who else we got? Who's a funny video game character?
James Sunderland.
Okay. What's he doing?
Tetris Attack.
He's in Mario Party 4.
Oh my god, that's so good. That is so good. It's like, and like his idle animation is just him on a square crying.
I would like Lara Croft in every game, but she's ignoring the main narrative and is just trying to steal all the items, and you have to get to anything you have to collect before Lara does. It's kind of a time attack Lara mode.
How about something where like the Pokemon are swapped with other things?
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, monster. Like Pokemon.
That's pretty cool.
The apes from Ape Escape, but they're in. It's just really hard to do it on the spot.
It's tough.
Yeah, we'll think about some great ones later.
Alice Madness Returns, but it has fucking Ape Escape guys in it. It's like, or like fucking Deus Ex, but it has like KK Slider, or Dash and the Giant in Deus Ex. I think that'd be perfect.
Sure. Dash and the Giant and Deus Ex. Can't beat that.
Oh, this is a fuck, marry, kill. I kind of find those very vulgar.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is a fuck, marry, kill for the Persona 3, 4, and 5 characters. You could pick a character from 3, 4, and 5, but you gotta fuck, marry, kill one of them.
But it says main characters, so we have to pick the mains from each
The
one.
main, okay, so the main of Persona 3 is a boy and a girl, if we're including Portable, which I will. 4 is Yu Nakamura. I know that's his name from the fighting game. And then Persona 5, the main guy's called Akira.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Can I go first?
Yeah.
Marry girl from 3. She's cute. I like her. Fuck guy from 5, because he has a mischievous smile, which implies he'll know his way around the bedroom. And kill that other fucker, you.
The grey-haired guy.
Yeah, I don't like goofy people.
The cool-ass senpai. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Marry the girl from 3.
Why?
I feel like...
Why?
Why?
Oh, I'm just coded, you know.
We're coding this podcast gay because I'm gay. Kill Akira and fuck the grey-haired guy from 4.
Okay, for me, it is kill the boy from Persona 3 because he's got his stupid fucking headphones. I'm going to kick him in the headphones and they're going to cave into his skull.
Whoa. Okay, I don't think you need to
Yeah, we didn't need
describe
to,
how,
yeah.
I don't like how he looks. He looks like a little shit.
He's my favorite.
I would have killed him if I didn't marry the girl.
Fair enough. I'm gonna marry the guy from Persona 5. We're gonna like live in the castle and we're gonna steal stuff, and it's gonna be a great future together.
Mm-hmm.
But I am gonna have like a one night stand with Yu Nakamura. I just want to see what he's got going on down there.
Sure.
There you go. That's the worst
See, Brian,
question.
that wasn't so bad.
Thanks.
It
Nick.
was. I talked about murdering a teenager again.
We talk about that literally all the time because it's
Yeah.
not on this podcast.
Yeah, me and John murder stuff sometimes.
That was from Nick, thank you. And
Thank
this
you,
one
Nick.
is now Matthew. So, best Street Fighter character.
Sagat or Ibuki. John.
Vega.
I think Sagat is a legitimately very good character.
He's brilliant.
Like, he actually has... If you follow his storyline through the Street Fighter games, it's really sad and it's really good. And I like Sagat a lot.
He killed Ryu's dad.
What the fuck are you... No.
No, he did he?
Sagat did not... Okay, fuck it. We're doing it. Okay. Sagat was the champion of the fucking world. No one could touch him. He was the undisputed Muay Thai killing machine, the Tiger Emperor. He killed Dan's dad.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
But then the scar on his chest is from Dan's dad, is it?
It's from Ryu.
Is it from Ryu?
Dan's dad in that same fight took Sagat's eye, which is why Sagat killed him.
Okay.
That's why he killed Dan's dad. But then he became even more of an outcast because he was always just this giant, tall, bald fucker living in Thailand and everyone was always scared of him, and he became even more of a fucking monster. And so he embraced that and he was like, I'll show you a fucking monster. And so he became the best fighter in the world until this little tiny 18-year-old Japanese boy came and beat him and scarred him worse than he has ever been scarred, and gave him that massive scar across his chest. And so he embraced all the hate, he embraces all the rage, and he goes and he joins Shadowloo, the most evil motherfuckers in the world, and he gives his soul to M. Bison, evil in fucking carnate, just because he's so torn up that he needs another shot at Ryu. He needs it so fucking bad. And he beats Ryu in the second Street Fighter tournaments. And he's like, why didn't you give it your all? And Ryu is just like, fighting you is just like fighting nothing, because anger doesn't mean anything. Then he goes and he fucking trains with Dalsum for ages, and he fucking meditates and he chills and he learns to chill the fuck out, and he becomes a good guy and he helps the children of Thailand, and he doesn't want to be in Shadowloo anymore because he's a great man.
So yeah, Ibuki would be my favorite.
Vega, because like he's kind of slutty.
Yeah, he is.
I like Chun-Li as well, but Chun-Li is just like,
Yeah, I like
she's a nice strong woman, and that's how she always is. There's not really an arc there.
And Mika as well.
I like Cammy.
Yeah,
Cammy's pretty cool. Although
Yeah.
Cammy's so weird because sometimes she's a clone of Bison, sometimes she's Bison's like wife.
I like Guile because he's gay.
Guile's great.
Okay, best Mortal Kombat character.
Sorry, just real quick. If people want, they should check out Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. If we're going to start doing video game movies, we're going to do that at some point. And then we're going to do the really fucking weird Street Fighter Alpha movie.
Best Mortal Kombat character, Reptile.
I love Reptile.
Yeah.
For me, it's Sub-Zero and Scorpion because they're the same fucking character.
So's Reptile, but
oh yeah,
lizard. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Sub-Zero. I like Ice.
The Mortal Kombat storyline's really fun. Like the way they did that in 9 and 10 was really cool. Cassie Cage is really good.
None of the designs really ever grabbed me.
I like Bellatar, but that's just Master Blaster from Mad Max 3.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's about it.
there's some really cool designs in 10. Melina's redesign is awesome, and there's this
Oh,
insect
cool.
girl as well. Did you ever see her?
No, I haven't.
Spits the
Oh,
acid.
she's so cool.
Mortal Kombat, everyone.
Mortal Kombat, everyone.
Okay, Niamh.
Best Tekken characters.
The Kangaroo.
Brian Fury.
Thank you.
Brian Fury, the good Tekken character.
I like the Williams sisters. I think they're great. I like Jun Kazama. I think she's great. I like Master Raven. I think she's great. I like Raven. He's great.
Kazuya's fun.
Oh yeah, I love Kazuya.
Kazuya's really fun. Harang is cool. I like Harang.
I like Bake as well.
What do you like about Bake?
He's kind of a nerd.
Jesus.
I just like
Sure.
his like I don't know. He was a main for a long time and I liked him.
Yeah, okay.
That's just kind of how Tekken goes. You like your mains.
Fucking, I know I bring it up every like 20 episodes. Those Tekken 4 intros, so good.
Oh!
So good.
My favorite is Li Xiaolong.
Oh, he is fantastic.
A lot of gay energy there too.
No shit.
Okay, best Guilty Gear character. For me, that would be Elfelt.
I think they're all great.
They are.
There's no bad Guilty Gear characters.
The gay guy with the pool cue.
Venom.
Yeah, like
yeah,
Venom.
he's very good.
I really like Saul Bad Guy because one time another character went back in time and killed Saul Bad Guy in the past and then returned to the present, but Saul Bad Guy was still alive because he's really strong.
Okay. That's really strong. And then
Yeah.
And one from any other fighting game of choice.
should we do Super Smash Brothers?
I like Akira from Virtua Fighter.
That's a good one.
Or Go from Virtua Fighter. Go is a goth who likes judo.
I like Dr. Mario in Smash Melee. And I like Teddy in Persona 4 Arena Ultimate Suplex Hold.
Geese Howard from King of Fighters.
He's cool.
He's fucking brilliant.
And Terry.
Terry, the Hungry Wolf.
Niamh?
Yeah, we've maxed out Eve on fighting games, I think.
Yeah, she's fought it all out. But, like, if you played Smash, who would you play as? Like, who is, like, getting your attention? Duck Hunt Dog?
I think we've answered this question before. I like playing like as all the characters that are people.
So
Yeah,
the Fire
I'd see
Emblem
you playing
guys.
as like Sheik or Captain Falcon.
Peach and Ganondorf.
Peach is really good.
Yeah, I like Peach. Did you see the change they made to Peach? It's so lame.
What is the change?
So before she used to whip out Toad and like thrust it in front of her and he would absorb an attack and spit it back. And he's like going, ah! Like he doesn't want to get hit. Now they've changed it so he dives real brave out in front of her and she cowers.
Oh no!
It's so lame because I like my like headcanon version of Peach is actually she's a super fucking badass deep down and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I like the idea that she would just use someone as a human shield, but the idea of Toad being heroic is dumb.
Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, their father. This is from a different Tyler. And it's here.
I personally thought the Star Wars prequels did some things quite well and view them fondly. So I was wondering if Niamh, who loves the prequels, could explain why you like them. Yes, I can. I think there's something to be said for the first Star Wars like films you see in the cinema might be your favorites kind of thing. They were the first ones I saw in the cinema, obviously, because I was a kid in the 90s. But what the prequels does for me, personally, is it was my introduction to world building. It brought politics to Star Wars. It showed how politics can be twisted from the inside to create something evil, which as a child was a concept that just blew my mind. It was something that brought character design and specifically costume design to the forefront of my imagination. I love the prequels because they seem like an old tapestry. Like the characters talk like idiots. No real people talk like that. But like if you read like the Odyssey or like some old literature, and everyone's really stunted and they don't really seem like real people, and it's more about the general idea of what happens to set up something else, that's what the prequels are for me. And they kind of have that visual look with the costuming as well, these kind of grand gowns, and a lot of the shots are this really like wide shots where there's like a lot of architecture that are arches and stuff. I think it's some of the best ship design in all of Star Wars. I love the Naboo royal ship. I love all the Naboo fighters. I think Anakin's like Jedi Starfighter is a really cool ship. I really love all of those. What I also thought was really cool is so visuals, location design, bringing structure to Star Wars in terms of politics. I grew up in a super Catholic place, and I always thought the idea of the Jedi being really cool was great. But then I thought the prequels kind of made them, like, they became that weird religious order.
Yeah.
And there was something, even though they were still the good guys, there was something dark about it, where they never really felt like the good guys. They were always kind of, like, they weren't supporting Anakin every time he came to any problem. Like, Yoda gives him literally the worst advice ever when he's worried about his mom dying and he's worried about, like, Padme dying.
What advice does he give him?
He's just like, oh, fear is bad, and stop being shit about it, Anakin.
He just says suppress it and get on with it.
Yeah.
It's such an Irish thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
And it's so like what a priest would say. Like, it's just kind of like, stop caring. And Anakin's like, well, I can't stop caring if I keep having nightmares about the person I love dying. And then I think there's all this really great interpersonal stuff. Like Obi-Wan is a really interesting character to me because he becomes a mentor when he's not ready to be a mentor. He was being trained by his mentor, and his mentor dies, and then he's put in this position where he has to be this reluctant teacher, and he is a reluctant teacher. And
like, he is struggling.
Yeah, and he really does struggle, and I think that also like fails Anakin in that point, because it kind of like he never really wanted Anakin as a pupil, so they have this weird kind of terse relationship kind of thing. So I liked that interpersonal stuff. I liked how the Jedi were kind of weird. Naboo to me is one of my favorite designs of a planet, or just like fictional locations. I think it's really cool and fleshed out. And the soundtrack, Duel of the Fates, is one of the coolest pieces of music ever. Like, I really love it.
Is that John Williams as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really iconic. It's cool how it's in the first film and then they bring it back for the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin on the lava planet.
And like, it has its problem. Like those characters are like awful. Like some of the writing is just like painful to listen to.
Yeah, totally.
It's very stilted.
But I remember I saw Phantom Menace in the cinema like yourself, and it blew my fucking mind. Like, I was like 10, and I was like, I'm into Star Wars now. And then I never actually got into it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, right place, right time. It kind of solidified my love of Star Wars a lot. That started with the toys and then went into the movies. And I really like the prequels because I don't think I would be as big a fan as I was. And I really think they're leading into the new films in such an important way with like just destruction of what the Jedi means. And I think people are like, ooh, where did that come from? It's the prequels. Like, that's where that comes from. It shows them not being very great. You know?
They have a flawed system. They caused their own destruction.
It brought a depth to that world that I think was severely lacking. Not even severely lacking, but just wasn't there. And when you have that depth, you can branch out and you can go in so many crazy directions.
Yeah. Right, thank you, Tyler. Okay, this is
Any final thoughts, Neve, on Star Wars?
Love it. The fans are ruining it.
Okay, sure.
yeah. No, that's 100% true. This is from Waste of Flesh. This is for you, John. Can John just talk about his love of exercising for a little bit? Sounds really passionate about it.
Like, I don't know. I just like I exercising is just how I deal with the feelings. Very emotional person, and sometimes it gets all pent up, and it's like I go exercise because it's like that's just the best way to do it. And like a lot of it is because I was like young and I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z and I watched a lot of pro wrestling, and I associated like strength with physical strength, which it kind of isn't. But it's like, I like exercising. It just kind of takes me out of my head, and it's like it's fun to do. And like no matter what kind of mood you're in, there's like an exercise for you. Like if you need to chill out, you can do some yoga. If you need to like, if you're a little anxious, you go for a run. If you're feeling angry, you lift weights. I lift weights after this podcast a lot.
Sweet.
Yep. But yeah, I don't really have any super deep thoughts in it, and like I don't love exercise. It's just kind of part of what I do. You know, it's just kind of it's a habit I have developed.
And just do it every day, I guess.
Well, like yeah, but some of it's like real soft ass exercise.
Keep it soft.
Yeah, keep it soft, everybody.
Okay, this is from Christopher. Do you guys have any experiences with emulators and or ROM hacks? If so, with the latter, any hacks you enjoyed?
I would say a huge part of my gaming knowledge came from using emulators. I downloaded massive libraries of games when I was a teenager, and I played through so many games.
I haven't done that many emulators. I always have a bad experience where I'll play a very long RPG and I'll get a couple hours into it, and then the ROM corrupts itself and I lose my save.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of pro piracy, but when it comes to games, I actually kind of prefer having the confidence that it's a reliable product. That being said, I love watching Let's Plays of hacks because I have a Mac. I can't really play a lot of weird hacks. So I watch Vinesauce. He's very good for hacks.
I used to be really into mods back in the day.
Yeah,
That's what we used to call ROM hacks, I guess. Well, I guess mods were for like actual games, but yeah, I got really into like Half-Life mods and Quake mods.
fucking Gary's mod.
Some of the shit like was like people were just creating like really high quality assets and doing really incredible things with them, and like just changing how the games worked, and it was really cool.
My favorite thing is like characters put into Counter-Strike that shouldn't have guns but now have guns.
I love anime girls in GTA mods. I think there's something really funny about that.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I like Final Fantasy 15 on PC has led to the most hilarious teams of characters running around together. Like Dante's there, like it's great.
Maybe that would make that game bearable.
Probably. I hacked my PSP when I got it,
Sweet.
and I had a lot of games for it on it.
A lot of
And it was-
non-Sony games.
And it was good. It was a good time. I like that console a lot. I love the PSP.
Okay, this one is from Jorge, and it's, what are you guys' opinions on Dynasty Warrior games? Specifically Nintendo Warriors, like the Hyrule Warriors or Fire Emblem Warriors.
I don't have much experience with the Dynasty Warriors games. A friend of mine used to own it, and I used to play multiplayer with him on the PlayStation 2, which was fun. I think Hyrule Warriors is a legitimately fantastic game. I got like 60-70 hours of that game. I enjoyed every second. It was great.
I've played a bit of one of the mainline Dynasty Warriors because it was on PS Plus a couple years ago, and I wasn't into it. Just because for me, I can only like a Dynasty Musou game if it's based on an IP I'm already familiar with. So the One Piece game is fantastic.
That's such a good one, yeah.
Just because it lends itself to it. Like, it really needs to be a concept or a world where it has a lot of fodder enemies. So for One Piece it kind of works because there's loads of these marines, and in the world of One Piece you have these crazy strong pirates, but there are human beings in that world as well, and they're just represented as you just push them back with one punch, and that is very satisfying. It's I really like the Fire Emblem one just because there's a huge cast of characters and they just do a parallel dimension where they all get to meet each other. That's cool.
I think what I really liked about the Hyrule Warriors one is I felt like they really took a lot of those Zelda characters and gave them this completely original take. Like Impa in Hyrule Warriors is the coolest version of Impa there's ever been. Yeah.
I love the hack and slash genre, and I wish we had more of them. Like I guess that's what like Musou games have become, but like as hack and slash games, I kind of miss those games where that was the combat.
Yeah, because hack and slash kind of turned into character action.
Yeah,
like it's really kind of a score attack thing now where you're just like juggling a combo.
Yeah, and I don't like doing juggling combos and getting like A ranks or S ranks or whatever. Like that's not fun to me. But I used to love I love Drakengard for its hack and slash. There was a game, Chaos Legion. Loved the hack.
Chaos Legion was so good.
So good.
You could summon your own monsters and stuff. That was so cool.
You had defense legions and like attack legions and stuff. That was great. There was a Sephiroth ripoff. That was really fun. 99 Nights was a 360, I think, title that was really fun.
Fuck yeah.
That was part of that disastrous Konami E3 press conference as well.
Oh yeah, the guy with the dreadlocks was promoting it.
Extreme.
I like Samurai Warriors. Samurai Warriors Orochi Tree is the game.
That's the sweet spot, is it?
Yeah, it's like I play that before bed a lot because it's like one of those like wind down games where you don't really have to think, you just have to hit things, and the characters, there's so like it's such a huge roster that it's just there's always someone fun to play as with fun abilities. I was super disappointed by Fire Emblem Warriors just because it was very grey. I thought it just kind of...
Do you remember how I said like the Hyrule Warriors made like really cool takes on those characters? That seemed like the exact opposite of what Fire Emblem Warriors
totally
did.
No new costuming on the characters, and like Link gets a cool scarf, and there's loads of like interesting character design stuff and color stuff in like the Zelda one.
In the Hyrule Warriors.
It's
same to One Piece game. There's loads of different alternate costumes that are based on like color spreads that have only ever been seen once.
Like I felt like the Fire Emblem one was in between thing. Like these models are the ones that are going to be used in the new game.
Yeah, I think that game is just padding.
Yeah,
That game, the new Fire Emblem game,
Yeah.
that game looks really plain.
the art direction needs to something needs to happen with the art.
Because like the art direction in the other ones was cool.
Yeah.
I thought, like,
It has a cool chibi design look to it. This kind of looked like the GameCube and the Wii game.
Yeah.
That like did well, but it doesn't work when it's that big. It kind of needs like a little kind of like cute like kind of twist to it.
Yeah.
Neve, this is specifically for you.
This is from Cameron. Neve, will you please say 13,333? 13,333.
How about we all do it? John, you go.
13,333.
Okay, now me. 13,333.
Oh, I can pronounce my T's.
I can't.
Victory, finally.
Thanks, Cameron.
Okay, we got 2 more emails left, and these are some wowzers.
These are the cream of the crop.
Oh yeah.
I'm fucking pumped. Let's do this.
It's super dark in here. Can I turn on the light?
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Not the strobing one. Please.
While John's turning on the light, I'm going to do some reading. Okay, so this is from Razorama 12. Look, that's your name, and that's fine. Okay, hello Elfabers. Oh Jesus, don't say that.
What? Elfab's cool.
Yeah.
It's not. It's lame.
Elfabers are great.
Elfab is awesome. Brian, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just a couple of Elfabers, yeah.
Yeah.
Elfabbing
This
it
is
up.
the name
Yeah.
of our fans.
We've been promoting this.
This
Brian,
is army.
if you had a problem with this, you should have brought it up at the merchandising meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Yeah, maybe I should have.
Elfabers.
Brian, get on brand.
I guess my shares are going where they go.
Look, you just what's one Elfaber to another? That's all you can be.
Fab it up. LaFab. Okay, 1. When y'all try to do American accents, they suck straight booty. Hey.
I know what Americans mean. That means it's good.
Like, when you use those regular mid-Atlantic accents, you sound fine. John sounds the most American when he talks normally, but at the same time, you all sound hella Irish, except John, that is. I'm sorry, Wolfman.
I don't care.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, stop
Whoa.
insulting me.
Shut the front door.
There's 2 Americans in here right now. This is insane.
Where's the Guinness Brewery?
What are you doing in here?
Do you guys go leprechaun hunting on Sundays?
Yes.
Your houses are so small. How do they fit in there?
Do you guys have swimming pools? No. Hey, 2. That wasn't a question. 2.
It's a statement.
Brian, you picked this.
I know! Okay, what do you guys think of video game genres? Like, do you think they properly convey what a game is? Do you think a genre should be based on more than just mechanics?
I think a video game genre, any genre, should be just a very quick and dirty descriptor of how something is.
2 words, like 1 or 2 words.
And that it's not going to be accurate because you can't describe... Like, the lamest conversations I've ever had are people who are like, is that really character action? Is that really a Metroidvania? is that really a Souls-like? Fuck you!
Yeah.
Fuck you! I don't care. It's so boring and there's no answer. It's such a reductive, boring conversation and there is no answer. Because, okay, the way genre works is if you make, say you make a cowboy movie. There is one cowboy movie in existence. That is a Western. That is the genre. Now you make another cowboy movie from a different director, different writer, different set of actors. That too is a Western, but because now that is 50% of Westerns, what that genre is has changed because it has become added to by the first one. Genre is always evolving. There is no set rule for it. And anyone who thinks there is, anyone who's trying to pin it down, it just feels like this weirdly compulsive need people have that goes nowhere and fills what I can only imagine is the darkest crevices of a person's soul. What do you guys think? am I wrong on that?
I think you're right. I think that
people like to catalog and name stuff and put it away.
I think genre is helpful when you are trying to recommend something to someone and you need a shorthand. Like you're like, this is kind of like this.
Yeah, this game meets that game, but it's got this going on. And you go,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's kind of like it's like a 2D Souls-like.
Yeah. That's Halle Knight.
Yeah.
It's a way to describe something so someone knows what they're getting vaguely, but you can't nail stuff down. Yeah, it's like
I think genre discussion is interesting. Like, hey, let's talk about horror.
Yeah,
that's really cool. But when it gets to the point of well, this is horror, but this isn't. And I remember once I think I was in college and some guy was like, Alien, that's not a sci-fi movie. That's a horror movie. And it's like, oh, fuck off. Whatever.
You're a horror movie.
Maybe it can be both. Maybe it can be neither.
Maybe genre is this incredibly nebulous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Who is that?
I've got more.
Okay.
Same person. Number 3. In your opinions, when does an action RPG stop being an RPG? And just become an action game with RPG elements.
I think based on everything we said, we're just we don't fucking care at all.
Okay, like Fallout 4 versus Fallout 2 or New Vegas style stuff. What precisely makes Nier Automata an action RPG? It's got slots, I guess.
I feel like action RPG describes 80% of video games now.
Yeah.
Very good, a little bit janky sometimes, just like some parts of JoJo. Sure.
I guess a level up tree.
Yeah, skill trees, stuff like that.
Make something that's an RPG mechanic, but I don't think it needs to be I don't think every RPG has them. People called Zelda an RPG, and that doesn't have.
You're not playing a role.
Yeah, you're not.
You use the same tool. Well, I guess in Breath of the Wild you can approach things differently, but before that, everyone kind of used the right item in the right place to fight the right boss. Mm-hmm. It was a real set order of events, and everyone got the same take home from it. I think with an RPG, you can kind of play as a thief or you can play as a mage or whatever you want.
Yeah, for me, when someone says RPG, it's the ability to build a character.
Yeah, I guess when I hear RPG, it's kind of I guess I would think there's going to be some kind of, growth to the game that runs parallel to my skill. The game isn't just going to be about getting better through skill. There's going to be some stat progression or something like that.
Yeah, and then in terms of gameplay, you have the very slow turn-based ones. You have something that has a timer mechanic, straight up action RPGs, JRPGs, which then become its own thing. It's a huge, big coverall umbrella term.
Yeah, but yeah, it drives me so insane when people get really nitpicky about genre, any movie, music, anything. But yeah.
Okay. John, please do a video on Teppu when you get the chance. It's a great manga that you enjoy. I enjoy. People need to read it. Accept your role as an influencer. God, I hate that label.
Yeah, me too.
And do what must be done.
I will do a video on Teppu at some point. The thing about doing a video on Teppu is that is a video that's just gonna eat it completely views-wise. No one, because first of all,
you're making it for you and 10 people.
I'm sure it'll be a great video that people will enjoy, but it's that will do so little views-wise, and that's okay, that's fine, but it's kind of you gotta pick your spots with that kind of stuff, because otherwise YouTube will be oh, we see no one's watching your videos anymore, so we're gonna stop recommending your videos to people. And it's oh shit, okay, but it will happen at some point.
Okay, this one's for me. Brian, you seem to be the resident movie buff. Sure. What do you think of Kubrick's films? Who's your favorite director? And also, since you're into trivia, is it true Kubrick was horrible to the female lead in the production of The Shining?
I can answer that.
As can I.
As can I.
Yeah, like we all. That's all right. Yeah, Kubrick's films are alright. I don't like 2001: Space Odyssey. I think that's a boring film.
What's your favorite one?
Shining, hands down. I like Barry Lyndon as well. That's a beautiful
Mine is
film.
Barry Lyndon.
That's such an amazing.
That's the one that crashed, right? Before The Shining. Like, it didn't do well box office wise.
Yeah, it's a period piece that's like 3 hours long.
But like, it's got natural lighting. Like the set design is amazing, and they really went all out. It's like it's unreal production. But yeah, like The Shining is like amazing. Fave director, I can't think of one.
Really?
Flip flops all the time.
Give us a few off the top of your head. Go on, this one South Korean fucker you like.
Park Chan-wook.
Park Chan-wook's really good. I can't pronounce the name of the other guys. The guy who made Yellow Sea, Chaser, and The Wailing. He's a really good director. The guy who directed Memories of Murder is really good. The guy, I don't know, like I like David Fincher films, but I also don't like half his films. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get that.
I think it's like
I like Seven, but Gone Girl's crap.
you like movies, like, you know.
Yeah.
Gone Girl's so bad.
Yeah, and I just like movies. I'll just go with it, and it doesn't matter. I'll try not to be a snob about it.
Yeah, I try.
But then I also fucking hate films as well.
Like with films, I like to just be like, oh, this person made it. I might go see it, but then once I'm there, I try and forget about who made it and just
it's
take
film.
it.
The thing about Kubrick being horrible to Shelley Duvall during the production of The Shining is true.
Yeah.
That poor woman, she never quite recovered from it. She was also in Popeye as Olive Oil.
Perfect casting.
Yeah. She's a very rubber hose looking woman anyway. She's gangly. I don't know what else she's been in. I've seen her in recent interviews and she's on 100% there now.
I don't like them. The Dr. Phil ones.
Yeah.
He's a bastard.
She's unwell. Like, she is very, very unwell.
But she's on television getting provoked. And they just want to get a response
he's
out of her.
He's like saying, oh, we're going to send her off to rehab or whatever. Okay, send her off to shoot your interview with her if you got to do that.
That's
send
private.
her off to to rehab. Wait like the fucking 3 years or whatever it takes for someone in that state to get right again, and then ask her, does she consent to that stuff being on television?
Yeah.
Not parading her around like a lunatic. Like, that's really sad.
I hate Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
like, he's
bad person.
Yeah, like, other people don't pretend they're anything more than what they are. Dr. Phil pretends he gives a shit, and he's made some of the most callous, horrible, cruel things I've ever seen. Fuck Dr. Phil.
Jerry Springer just ended.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked that was still going.
Is he alive?
He's still alive. I saw it during the week. The last episode of Jerry Springer aired in 2018. In summer 2018, it's over.
I wonder what he's still making.
Yeah, what was the final episode?
It's probably just him like going, you know what? I'm not sorry. And then it just ends.
I watched so much Jerry Springer when
Yeah.
I was little.
I used to watch it, but then my mom caught me and I got in so much shit.
I was pissed because I always thought there'd be like legit fights, and there never really was one.
Except it's always badgering and provoking.
The most violent thing I ever saw on Jerry Springer was an episode about white supremacists, and there was a guy there, and he was like Nazi Santa Claus was his thing, and like that, it was kind of horrible and it was awful. But there was this black dude on stage as well, and the black dude was super fucking cool. And the guy he just goes, you know what you should call me? You should call me Roadrunner. Wanna know why? And in the space of about a second, he darted across the stage and just slammed the Nazi Santa Claus in the face with a punch, and it was so good. And like, the security guards didn't even have time to stop him. It was beautiful.
Do you know what show I also really liked? Jeremy Kyle, which is the British version of Jerry Springer, in which it's usually him with like tracksuit lads, and just him kind of like arguing, but like he gets really opinionated. Yeah, he yells at them, and he calls them on their bullshit, because he'd be like, "You told me a completely different thing backstage, and here we out here now, and you're lying to me."
Do you ever get that thing where like you see like kind of like?
Oh, and Maury's really good.
Maury's great.
Ricky Lake.
Ricky.
You see like rednecks or whatever from America, and they're not scary at all. But then you see like English or Irish chavs, and you're like, whoa, because like they scare the shit out of me.
Because they're real and they're on public transport.
But they're so fucking like, you know, when they have a go at you, like they're so intimidating.
They'll kick the shit out of you. I'm frightened of them too.
Yeah.
The most frightening thing that happened to me was I was on the Lewis, and if people don't know, I have like gauged ears, so I have a hole in my ears, and one of them gets his little finger and he puts it through the circle of my earring because it was a crowded thing and he was just that close to me, and he looks me in the face and he's just like, you ever afraid that someone will just pull off your ears? And I was like, not until now. And he was just like, just messing with you, and he took his finger right out.
That's... Let me tell you, we fucking breed them mean in Ireland. They're so scary.
You think you're hard, mate?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's because like American movies have like...
They've really like cartoonized them. They're really...
Yeah, because surely they're not any less rough than the rough people in Ireland. Let's take another email.
No, they've got one more, but last thing, could you guys go into your detail about your jobs, line of work, or college years? For that, I'm not going to talk about work. Sorry.
Why?
Because I just don't want to.
You're a compositor.
Yeah. I work in animation. It's cool.
I'm a layout artist in animation.
I'm a YouTuber. I figure people already know plenty.
Yeah. Animation college is much more interesting, I think. That was fun.
It sure was.
Thought it was shit.
Yeah, but you did it wrong, Neve.
Did it right.
There was a lot of homework on that fucking course.
Yeah, there
like
was.
as much as like fucking medicine or some shit.
Yeah, it was super frustrating because like it was really encouraged that you would do all-nighters and that you would fuck yourself up for Man Boat Wave.
So romanticized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's awful.
Try, like, if you can work smart, don't kill yourself working, because it's just going to decrease the quality of your work.
Yeah.
I got a bad back out of college.
Yeah, but that's like...
And that was considered an achievement to have a hump on your back.
But that was... I remember that being like, get ready for your bad back. And it was just like, if you know that's going to happen, why don't you start good practice and like show people like stretches they can do, or like arms, like hand stretches they can do, instead of just being like, well, you're fucked 18-year-olds, you know? It's like, create a good narrative, create a good practice, make people stretch.
The one good thing I liked about... Well, like I liked a lot of good things, but one thing that stood out to me when I did the course in Paris in Gobelin was that every day we did 10 minutes of stretching.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because we'd have like a life drawing bit, but it was just like we all did a warm up and we all loosened out, and it was encouraged. Mm-hmm. I know in the Studio Ghibli documentary they do that as well. They kind of have like their school like exercise song that they all get up from their desks and they just do their stretches.
Yeah, like it's not hard. I started looking up a bunch of hand yoga because I was typing in it so much that like my arms were getting really sore, and like it fixed me right up.
Yeah, so take care of your body.
Yeah, take care of your body, start doing stretches, your shoulders and your back will thank you later.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for all those questions. They were brilliant.
What a rush of emails.
Okay. But now it's time for our final email. And
oh shit, okay.
I've saved this for last because it was a very good question. Okay, this is from Gustavo.
Hey Gustavo.
What if Neve and Brian were YouTubers?
The concept.
Okay, what are our channels about?
I'm gonna lean back for this one.
Okay, I was thinking about this earlier on. Mine are a mixture of One Piece lore videos and Kirby lore videos. I've got this one video where it's like, guys, there are tracks from Dark Side of the Moon in Kirby's Fun Pack, and I'm going to prove it to you. And it's a 10-minute video. Kirby is the real Pink Floyd.
What you got, Neve?
There would like literally be 10 subscribers and I would do stuff like antique toys.
Go figure, a review with Neve.
Oh, sweet. Stealing that. Yeah. They would be looking at the history of toys and maybe stamps and maybe call cards and collecting as a hobby.
I don't know, like I figure as one of them females, you'd be pretty like unique in that area, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
That would attract a small audience.
You have a very good voice. People would like that. People love a good YouTube
Trust
voice.
me, Americans will just eat that Irish shit right up. Thank you to everyone who supports my YouTube channel.
Can we do our YouTube voices for our channels?
Go for it.
It's like, hey, everybody, it's your boy Brian, and I'm going to speak like this now for the rest of the video.
When I was a young girl, my mom gave me a toy.
That just sounds like my YouTube voice, Steve.
And toys remind me of childhood.
And that's why you should brush your teeth before you go to bed. Well, friends, that was another great video. Thanks all for stopping by.
All my own videos great.
No, I do.
Well, friends, that's another one in the
We can
bag.
all agree I really knocked it out of the park there.
Okay, but
Rock
like,
this one. You should just end the video like that and see how it goes.
so like it's me doing voice, but then at the end it's me in the room, and I'm just in my underpants, and I'm just like scratching myself, and I'm like, well, that took 2 years to make.
Sometimes I do think about, like, if I wanted to destroy my channel, what would be the fastest, most efficient way to do it? Like, without getting, like, evil.
Pull out your naked, except for underwear, and you have clothes pegs on your nipples.
I think it should just cut.
But, like, maybe a slow pull out that takes, like, 3 minutes.
It should just cut to you, John, and you're a juggalo. And people are like, what?
Oh.
Get weird with it.
Or like it's you in your room and you just have like a lot of like New Type magazine stuck on your wall, but they're just of like the wrong characters.
That's a lot of YouTubers.
But like the wrong, like I'm not gonna say what it is, but just the wrong stuff is on the walls.
I think there's a good reason why me and Brian aren't YouTubers.
Because we destroy it.
Yeah, it would be too famous, too popular.
Probably more popular than I am in this fucking podcast.
Yeah. Let's just say that VidCon would never be the same. We'd have our own con.
On that subject, I'm sorry to announce that we actually have to cancel the Let's Fight a Boss Con 2018.
Yeah, we overbooked the venue.
It was a fucking disaster.
We have a scavenger hunt planned. We're just going to leave it out there.
I personally want to apologize to everyone about the fire room. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just really hot and dangerous.
We forgot to put balls in the pit.
Yeah.
So it was just full of like change.
Sorry at that point that it started raining tarantulas. We're still looking into how that happened.
T-shirts were €150.
Neve, you don't...
I think it went really well.
Sorry, not sorry.
I like the bit where we had to stand 15 feet away from people to take photos.
Yeah,
that was good, yeah.
Do not touch Neve's ears.
Don't touch them.
Leave that ear shit was terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's the most scared I've ever been. I thought he was going to kill me. Maybe like 3 years ago.
I really forgot how scary like Dublin can be when you just like... Because like, we're in Dublin, but we're not the only people here. And yeah, there's just a big... Dublin has a big net.
Yeah, do you remember that time, Brian, a bunch of teenagers tried to kick the shit out of us?
Shouldn't have been there.
We should not have been there.
Yeah, that was their playground. It was after 9 o'clock. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, sometimes life gives you gifts. Like this loot drop!
Okay, this is the end of the podcast where we say, hey, this is something we like.
Yeah, here's a little treat for you for bearing with what has been an unstructured mess, but ultimately fun. I feel like we really knocked it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
This episode is 3 hours long. We've
Jesus.
done over an hour of emails, so you know what? Fuck yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I felt like we really got into some shit with those emails.
We did.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll go first. I would like to loot drop Mega 64 Frieza Saga in under 5 minutes. If you're a follower of Mega 64...
Frieza Saga or
Cell Saga.
Cell Saga.
I just discovered this video. It's called the Frieza Saga. If you're a follower of Mega 64, you know this one's been coming for a really, really long time. And they've been working on this video for what feels like a decade. And it's really great to see it come out. And I think it's really funny. I think it's really creative. I'm really delighted to see the response to it because it's been just fucking crushing it views-wise. And like, I'm glad because those guys deserve it. And I watch a lot of Mega 64. My Sunday evening ritual is I take a bath and stick on the Mega 64 podcast, which I hope they never find out. And I I think this is a really good video, and it's good to see them still doing it.
You're going to try and go to their panel at
I think it's overlapping with Giant Bomb.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no.
My loot drop is Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History.
I fucking love this series so much.
This is such a good series. It's 13? Is it 12 or 13 parts long?
It's 13 parts long now.
Yeah.
By a Lithuanian dude who lives in Ireland.
Called Geo Samuel.
Yeah.
It keeps getting taken down, so I'll put up like the newest link, but it's been mirrored a bunch of times. It is such a really great, comprehensive collection of internet lore about
The most documented person.
Yeah, Chris Weston Chandler and the Adventures of Sonichu. If you don't know anything about this, it's a deep dive into weird internet and a weird internet character.
I fucking wish I'd met that guy.
It kind of crosses over maybe into mean, weird territory. Who knows? But it's all out there for years. It's just a collection of it, to be honest.
It's really, really awful. Some of the episodes are difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Especially episode 11. I found that hard to watch. But then,
is this guy being mean to...
No.
He's just documenting.
He's just documenting it, and he's a really good, like, documentarian, I guess, of it. Like, he doesn't interject his, like, personal opinion. He kind of... He'll theorize on stuff, but never, like, come down hard on anything kind of thing.
He's trying his best not to be nasty.
Yeah.
He's being as fair as he can be.
Sounds good. What do you got, Brian?
I linked this YouTube channel before, Dan Root, but he just did a video on a Metroid Fusion and how it creates fear. I just really enjoyed this video.
That is a scary game.
Yeah, like you know how you have a favorite game and then someone makes a video about it and it doesn't take away from it or anything. You just kind of go, that's a really interesting way of talking about something that I love already.
Sure, yeah.
And now I like it in a completely different way. But he talks about, because Metroid Fusion, like, it's a completely different game to like Super Metroid and Hollow Knight, where you have a waypoint the entire way through that game and you're on a guided path. It's a very narrow fielded game. Like, you can't go outside of certain restrictive areas. So people have the same experience with that game. But he talks about a lot of the set pieces and how the game has fear and it has tension, and how the tension builds up to fear. Because you play as Fusion Samus, but you're hunted by the SAX, which is a clone of Samus, who is at 100% weapon capacity while you're only at like 10%. And it's a scary concept because it's like a super zombie version of you, but what scares you is that you're in a locked room with a countdown timer and you have to like get out of there as quick as possible. And it's that urgency and rush that give the sense of fear rather than the actual character itself.
That sounds awesome.
And it's just, using gameplay effectively.
Yeah, totally.
I'm also going to drop Nick Sphere's video about Hereditary. So if you've seen Hereditary, this is a good, interesting take on it.
Cool.
That's it.
That's a stacked episode, I would say.
It's episode 78, everyone.
Episode 78.
We'll be back. Episode 78.5, 9.
Yes, most definitely. What do you guys... I guess what do you guys learn from this episode? Because I feel like that's... life's a journey.
If the mood suits us, we could do a 3-hour episode. But do not expect that every time.
I like it when I see a 3-hour episode from people I like. It's like, yeah, man.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, me too. I'm exhausted. Neve, how's it going?
Good.
Excellent. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.